Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rainbow Six Collegiate Championship. We are here with another week of some fantastic collegiate action. My name is Jonah, and for the very first time, I will be joined by the one and only Adam Jazzman Jassim. How you doing tonight, my friend?
What's up? I'm so excited, Jonah, to get into this, bro. I've been waiting to cast for a very long time, and especially with you, because you've just been doing so many amazing things, and you're so buff and handsome, and I'm so ready to go.
Well, I'm stoked to get this going with you. We've
Mm.
got we've got a fun matchup because not only do we have two undefeated teams from the East Conference, we've got a little bit of a Michigan grudge match on our hands. It is Davenport University versus Kettering University, two teams coming out of the East Conference who have had a pretty stellar performance thus far. Let's take a look at our rosters though and see exactly who we're dealing with tonight. Of course, starting off with Davenport, we've got Spandy, Ereshkigal, Julian, Camfrog, and Nazaru, players who, have had their time in the limelight. They are working their way up the collegiate ladder, and they're hoping to make a name for themselves tonight.
Both these teams undefeated, of course, so it's kind of a grudge match between both Kettering as well. Let's talk about Kettering. We got Bucka, Anomaly, Amplified, Papa P. I love that name. And Dirt. So, yeah, like you said, it's not just Michigan versus Michigan. It's undefeated versus undefeated. One of these teams is about to become a team coming out with a loss, and that's it kind of hurts the reputation a bit. It hurts the soul. So this is kind of a little bit of a performance based match. It's kind of like is our reputation really up to what it actually is? We'll have to see, and I'm super excited to see how these teams play. If the match is that important to them, if they want to keep that that lossless streak, let's just see what happens. I'm super excited.
Yeah, we'll get right into it in a moment, but first we'll take a look at our map bans and actually see where we are going to end up tonight. Of course, a best of 3 series to determine, like you said, which team ends up at that 4-0 position, top of the East Conference. We'll be starting out on Bank. That's going to be Davenport's pick after they banned out Oregon and Kettering takes Coastline off the board. We'll go to Clubhouse next, the two maps we are guaranteed to see tonight. And if we head to that decider match or the decider territory, it will be Cafe to end out the night. So, two maps that we see pretty often, Club and Cafe, but throwing in a Bank in the mix from Davenport, a little bit surprising, a little bit unexpected, especially from collegiate teams, but it does suggest to me that Davenport may be looking to come out of the gate swinging.
Yeah, I mean, if you're picking a map like Bank, you have to have prep, right? You have to understand what you're going in and what you're doing because it's not a competitive map where people have been playing it for centuries, like Villa, like Clubhouse. It got removed for a very long time and just came back, and it's completely different. The play styles were completely to an extent, but it works pretty similarly. But at the same time, there's so many new things that you have to get ready to adapt to, and because obviously Davenport picked the map, I'm assuming they're not going to be able to have defense. So there's a lot that Davenport's going to have to adapt to if they want to go into this. And I'm just hoping that their coach is prepared enough for them because this map can get difficult if you're unprepared. It'll really start to show.
And that what could be the strength of Davenport, right? They could be picking this map to try to say, hey, Kettering, we're taking you to unexplored territory.
Yeah.
You've got to come out of the gate swinging. Otherwise, we are going to take you down and take this first map. But we're going to head right on into it now. Take a look at our operator bands and see what kind of bank we are in for tonight. Like I said, an East Conference matchup that should be pretty exciting to watch. Only 4 teams at this point remain undefeated in the East. That is NCSU, probably the favorites to emerge the victors out of this entire conference. You've got the University of Waterloo, in addition to the 2 teams we've got in front of us tonight. And with 4 teams advancing from that regular season, from this Swiss bracket stage into the playoffs, really, it could be these 4 teams who end up on top, but it very well could be the team that loses tonight could end up slipping away. There are some other teams out there in this East Conference like NJIT, like Albany, like Ryerson, who are also capable of taking some victories when they get the chance. So now with our first attacker bands out of the way, the Nomad band, a little bit unusual, but the Thatcher band as common as ever.
Yeah, I mean, no Hibana might definitely be a little bit jarring, but I'm assuming that a Kaid might come next, a Valkyrie, and a mirror. I mean, yeah, of course you want to get rid of that mirror, but yeah, with Kettering starting on defense, it's going to be really advantageous towards them, I'd like to believe, and especially because Davenport have, it depending on if the Kaid is allowed or not, which, yeah, I was waiting for that Valkyrie van to come on in, but yeah, that Valkyrie is definitely gonna, or sorry, that Kaid is definitely gonna be a little bit of a thorn in the side of Davenport, even though they have so much hard breach utility. It's going to be really difficult to clear those Kaids, and I'm just interested to see how Davenport is going to adapt around this. This is their map pick, so I'm expecting big things from them. I'm expecting some, wow, just got roasted in chat. Well, that was assault. That was just pure assault from Derp and Bucka. But anyway, We have an Ash on the board from a rescue goal, so I can already tell this is going to get a little bit interesting. An operator that isn't very common nowadays, doesn't find herself, you know, in that pool of 5 operators, because you only have 5 to choose from. You got to be very careful with what you have, and as I say that, it'll be gone. Jackal instead. But yeah, Ash has just become such an irrelevant operator at this point in time. She doesn't really do that much at the moment, and it's kind of a waste of a pick. So to see Jackal on the board instead on a map like Bank, which is just, I mean, it's massive. There's so much you have to clear. Not very shocking stuff, but we're gonna be seeing an open area instead of a basement, which yeah, kind of surprising, but we'll see how it's handled.
The open area has been one of the strongest defensive sites on this map. You mentioned that, you know, Kettering picking that defensive side is interesting, I would say, because this map has historically been considered, especially in the recent meta, since Bank has been reintroduced into the pool, it has been slightly attacker-sided, at least at the higher levels. Here in Collegiate, I'm not exactly sure how the stats stack up on this map, but it seems that the teams know something that we do not. They both want to defend this map, Kettering choosing to defend in regulation, and if we go to OT, Davenport have elected to defend there. But they'll be starting out on the attacking side. Like you said, Adam, this is their map pick, so we can expect them to run some pretty composed strategies. As far as the lineup goes, they'll be running the combination of the Jackal and the Zero, so bringing out a lot of that, I suppose, roam denial, you could say, using the combination of the scanner from the Jackal and those Zero cams to get as much intel as they could possibly need in dealing with these roamers on the top floor. There'll be a couple of those roamers, but I imagine not too heavy of an extension. But one of those players actually on that extension, Derp, running around here in main lobby, he'll strike first and he'll take down Julian.
That's a huge pick there. You've got rid of nades and you got rid of a Gon 6. The only clear that you have at this point in time is Maverick, and you also don't have a lot of burn on the side of Davenport. 2 smokes and a flashbangs. That's about all you're gonna get for this one. Against, you know, a Papa P just stacking while my discs on a shield. It's gonna be really, really. Oh, and well, I was gonna say it's gonna be really, really difficult without those nades. Well, you've just gotten rid of one of your burns as well. Reshkako just kind of walks on in, and it's just a swing fest right now. I'm not sure why everyone is just challenging Papa P without clearing the shield whatsoever. He's on for 2 right now, looking for a third. He's got it. He's locked Camfrog down. It's just down to Spandy in a 1 versus 5. This entire attack has simply crumbled at the hands of Kettering's shield, placed inside, or sorry, rather outside of stock. It's just Dirt now going to swing this for what appears to be a freebie, and the round is over. I blinked. I literally just blinked, and the entire round just ended off of 1 shield and off of 2, and off of an opening pick from that Mozzie getting rid of the Finka. What just happened?
Yeah, Kettering making very quick work of the Davenport attack. A shame, because we were just highlighting how Davenport, they were bringing out an attacking lineup that looked like it was geared up towards a removal of that extension, trying to clear that out as efficiently as possible. But the very thing their lineup was designed to counter, well, turned out to be their kryptonite. We never really saw Ereshkigal use that Jackal scanner, the Inox, to pin down a couple of those roamers. We never really got a chance to see Camfrog utilize those Zero cams either for intel or burn, because we really never saw Davenport decide to go for that utility focus. Like you said, Adam, they just took gunfights. They just lost gunfights, and that's why Kettering were able to secure a very dominant, flawless round right off the bat. We never even saw those attackers get towards the floor that the site was actually on. All of the action happened upstairs, and Kettering made very, very quick work of that attack. They'll now shift gears and head towards the basement, but a site that, once again, attackers are probably going to have to enter in from above. Davenport need to be wary of any sort of Kettering roam, any sort of Kettering extension. They cannot let that happen again.
I can't speak on the case of Julian and how he got, you know, opening frag extremely early on, but on the side of Nazareth, on the side of Camfrog, and mainly Ereshkigal, I really don't know what was going on with that swing on that shield. There was no attempt to burn whatsoever, no attempt to drone. It really just seemed like Kettering were just, Davenport were just going in, just guns a-blazing, hoping to see if they can just get an early pick, and it didn't work. It was really a misfire, and it seems like Davenport are on for the same exact thing, as they are rushing inside of open, and Derp is just going to be lining up heads here. He's on for a triple now as he swings for his 4th. He might be able to lock it up. He's lining up Nazar and Ereshkigal. He's not going to be able to find it, but it's a 2 versus 4, and this game is off to quite the start. Davenport just getting their hands dirty very early on, and probably the weirdest and, dare I say, dumbest rush I've ever seen, as they just get destroyed by Derp. This is This is not the start that you want here if you are Davenport. It looks like they want almost... Oh, well, it looks like they want to lose their first ever game, because this is just really not the way you should be playing Siege.
No, it is a rough start, and what's most troubling is if you take a look at the top left corner of your screen, the drone counter, all 10 drones available for Davenport, proving that in fact they did not do much drone work at all to figure out if they could push into open area safely, and that is not a good sign. One player was able to take down 3 attackers who just single file walked their way in through the very same position. You know, finally, we can see Ereshkigal in that position, but with that vertical control, only 2 attackers remaining against 4 anchors now, comfortably sitting on the site below. It is not looking too good for Davenport. Nazru has also been lit up quite a bit. Will now be mavericking away remainder of this hatch if he can, and they do have a potential avenue to approach from below, or above rather, but you do have Anomaly throwing those smokes from below, trying to delay that time. And heck, if just one of those smoke grenades can barely catch Nazru there, I mean, you could easily get a kill and finish him off because he is so low HP. Bucket now taking the next fight, shotgun in hand, gets one, gets the second as Ereshkigal looks to come in and trade his teammate, but another swing and another set of disappointing results for Davenport. That is 2 rounds in a row where they just didn't stand a chance.
Just got cut down inside of open area like it was absolutely nothing. And Kettering kind of, they just had layers ready, right? Like they just had their defense set up, they trusted their defense, and well, they also just trusted Derp, who just went absolutely nuke on the 5 players going into open with absolutely 0 intel. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster, Jonah. I don't think you don't need to even be like a 5-year-old that barely knows how to speak English to understand that that's just an absolute disaster. But at the same time, I mean, Davenport, they're getting the right idea. You know, they have Nazru. Well, actually, they have no nades now except for the Finka. So this is an interesting scenario. I'm not really sure what the Davenport lineup is looking to accomplish here. I'm getting the buck here. I'm understanding what they want to do, but if they're gonna play just like they did the last few rounds, no drones and trying to clear underneath to get Buck inside maybe of archives and inside of tellers, it's not going to be that successful. You have to have your intel in the right place. You have to use all of your drones successfully. It's not what we're seeing right now from the side of Davenport, but if they're able to switch that around a little bit and get their drones in, they can definitely apply some pressure from underneath if it's uncontested, and then they can get the wall open pretty easily as long as they can get rid of the electro claws. So the idea is definitely there, but at the moment, looking at Davenport's past executions, really a messy start from them, and it seems like Kettering are also going to prepare for this. They're going to be underneath as well. They're going to have Derp roaming underneath with Oryx, which not a very common pick, but also probably one of the most fun operators in the game. And well, he brings one thing to the table, and that's that he can jump up hatches. So we'll see how Derp puts that to use, as he's got 5 kills on the board. I trust him. I trust what he can do.
Yeah, if there's any map where we do see the Oryx pulled out, it is a map like Bank, where it is simply just an expanse of a map with so much roaming potential, so many hatches for Derp to potentially, work his way up, surprise those attackers from behind. Not to mention, we've seen how Davenport have struggled with those roamers, struggled with a couple of those surprises just in those first 2 rounds. Maybe that's exactly what Derp is hoping to exploit. He will get a little bit of damage dealt his way as he positions himself in main lobby. I think it was Spandy who took that gunfight on the main lobby rappel, but he will back off, as will Derp, not looking to get an early death on either side of the coin here. But Davenport, they're turning their attention towards this site pretty early in the round. Julian is not afraid to just enter through top square and start the challenge. He'll also use that LMG to open up a couple of holes above this reinforcement, roll that nade in an attempt to take care of that electro claw, but that is of course going to miss as the wall remains electrified. Another delay that Davenport now have to come back from. Camfrog below, trying to deal with one of these roamers who is prone in open area right now, and he's not going to have the easiest time because he is all alone at the moment. Needs some support from above, and it is not going to come in time. Camfrog will fall at the hands of Papa P. Ereshkigal will get a trade though, so we're still in a 4v4.
Oh my, the swing with a bailiff of all things. Derp will claim Ereshkigal at the same time. Yeah, that 1v1 downstairs between Camfrog and Papa P, just kind of ill-advised, to be honest, and it didn't work out in the end. That underneath control, that Davenport we're hoping for, just hasn't come their way just yet. But as I say that, Nazru looking like he's just going to completely forego that underneath control. All of your hard breaches on the hands of Spandy, so they can get the wall open now. The electric claw is completely gone. with 55 seconds left, they're just going to slow down and assess the situation. I'm not sure where Papa P or Spandy is. He's roam clearing. Well, it looks like it's working out, at least for now, as Spandy just gets rid of Papa P, but he needs to be upstairs. Time is not of the essence here for Davenport. They need to get up quick and get ready for an execute, considering that actually Davenport have quite the amount of control here. The one thing that they don't have, though, as you can see, is that elevator hallway. Bucka is sat inside of elevator. He'll claim Nazaru. There goes your Buck. Ball's going to get opened up here. Buck is on for a second. Ill-advised swing there from Julian. It's just down to Spandy in a 1 versus 3. Everything against the world here. And it's just going to be another swing into the vending machine hallway. And it's a third there for the castle. Just holding it down. Really, really nice stuff there from Bucka. It's another round yet another round from Kettering and Davenport. The pressure is really starting to mount.
Yeah, and especially because it is their own map pick, you know they really wanted to start off strong, and going to bank, I suspect they prepped this map and they expected to be a little bit stronger than they're showing us right now. Round 3, though, it was the closest round yet. They had moments where we saw a glimmer of hope, where, maybe they found that trade on the top floor. They just could not really continue that pressure and allow that kill to really leverage that site open for them. Once again, Davenport struggling with the surprises from Kettering. Frankly, at this point, Adam, they shouldn't be surprises. A roamer in open area, trying to play some vertical down below, trying to deny any entry downstairs. That is not unusual by any stretch of the imagination, especially considering what we've seen in the last few rounds, where Kettering have brought out similar extensions and similar roams. Davenport need to get a grip on this roam as soon as they can. Otherwise, Kettering, they are going to keep throwing the same thing at them, because if it ain't broke, I fix it.
I think Davenport need to get a grip in general, but it is what it is. I think right now, Kettering just kind of... I mean, they're playing pretty standard stuff, right? Like, you said the exact same thing. They're just roaming. They're not really doing anything extra special. They kind of just stick someone inside of an area and go, see how long you can live. And usually it's till the end of the round. Sometimes they die out, but not before getting 2 to 3 of their own trades. It's just... Kettering are playing really important positions. Davenport simply cannot clear them, and it doesn't seem like they're in any position to do so at all. 6 nades now being brought on the side of Davenport. Should help their fortune a little bit, but don't know if you'll notice one thing. What the absolute heck are you going to use to burn those Omai discs? You can't burn them with 0 cams. You can burn them with Zophia's, but that's all you got. This is I mean, they got enough stuff to clear shields and all that. They got the Zofia, but what are you going to burn those Omai discs with? As long as they don't challenge Papa P exactly like they did the first time around, maybe their fortunes could turn for their, in their favor, but we'll have to see as Davenport just prepped to clear out this upstairs, using their drones, just taking a bit of time, seeing how exactly they want to approach this.
Yeah, at least they only have to deal with those magnets. There's no Jaeger, there's no Aruni. It's just the sole projectile denial in the hands of Papa P, and Davenport, well, they've got to get this done quickly, and now losing the nades from Julian, it's not looking good. Davenport, they're going to pivot. They're going to go for this rush, and it is once again not going to work in their favor. Anomaly, he heard it coming, he was ready for it, and he took down Spandy accordingly. Now Nazaru, next player to push on in, all the way through in the back of Kitchen here, but Anomaly will collect another onto a Reshkigel through that breach as the team tries to walk in. It's just Camfrog trying to cover his teammate, who actually ends up getting that kill onto Amplify, silencing the castle, who has yet to find a kill, but that'll be his very first death. Nazaru gets a second, but that's going to be all he will find for now, as Derp will now swing onto Camfrog and Nazaru, cleaning them both up from behind. I liked what we saw from Davenport, at least in terms of the overall approach, right? They saw that the top floor clear maybe wasn't their best option, so they tried to go a bit more direct. They tried to get aggressive, and while the idea was there, the execution was not.
Yeah, and good on Kettering to kind of read exactly what Davenport were going to do. They collapsed into open area and kind of pressured them immediately. They didn't allow Davenport to get that immediate access, and even whenever they did get inside of the site, it was Derp who was there to stop and be a wrench in their plans, and he did a really good job at that. He was able to secure 2 kills, and he's just been on fire so far this game. But at the moment, Davenport definitely not able to figure things out just yet. You're right in this, in the sense that they have the right idea. They understand that they can adapt now. They can move around this setup here from Kettering. Kettering isn't completely invincible, but at the same time, just it was rough. It was definitely rough, and I think Kettering really worked their magic there, especially Derp. Just really solid room from him. I don't think there's a Kettering player on the team at the moment that isn't doing something. There's always someone on the roster that is just willing to, you know, throw their body at something just to make a play or just make something happen in order to take the round. It's been Dirt most of the time. He's just been kind of getting his kills and holding down positions. We also got to keep in mind, you know, Bucka. He's been really, really solid whenever it comes to, you know, not giving up control mainly. He's able to stay in one position, kind of remain sedentary, and just kind of just wait for Davenport to make a mistake, and he'll capitalize on that. So, really good play so far from Kettering. I'm interested to see what Davenport might do here, you know, considering that they just haven't been able to really clear Kettering in terms of utility. That's what's concerning me the most, is Davenport haven't been able to get rid of any of this utility, and in turn, it's made Kettering, you know, they've been able to play very safe throughout the map, thus giving Kettering you know, a lot of map control and just a lot of space to work with.
And with all of that flexibility, like you said, Adam, Kettering will be heading back downstairs to lockers. With 4 rounds in a row, they can head back to a site that, yes, they have already defended successfully a couple of rounds ago. They'll be looking to likely provide a similar amount of roam presence, but there isn't anyone currently positioned on this top floor, at least not from what I can see. Everyone on Kettering is either on that basement site or just slightly extended. I mean, Derp is just playing around on the stairs before he eventually backs off. Bucka is playing on those blue stairs, you know, slightly towards that first floor, but still mostly considering he's on the site. And meaning to say that Kettering, they are no longer trying to go for that aggressive pressure, and maybe that is an odd decision considering how well we've seen it work, but they also may be thinking, you know what, maybe it's time to force Davenport to clear out some utility and do things the old-fashioned way, because until Davenport can prove they can clear out the map like that, Kettering are probably just thinking, you know what, we can hold down this site just fine by sitting behind a shield. And that's what Bucka is going to do. He's got the shotgun in hand. He got 2 kills from this position last time, but Davenport, unlike they did in the last round where they pushed him in those last few seconds, they're looking to contest him early. The burn comes in and the nade will follow. The shield is gone, and now Bucka's going to feel the pressure. Looks like we'll see a smoke come in. No, we're just going to see him swing. Bucka will just step right up and get 1. He'll step up and get 2, and no one is there to find the trade. Both Spandy and Dereshkigel are none the wiser, and they will be taken off the board early. Davenport already losing 2 bodies.
That shotgun is dangerous, and if you can't contest it with utility, you might as well not contest it at all. And there it is, a beautiful nade there from Julian. They'll clear out blue stairs with 55 seconds and 2 lives down. You still got the Maverick alive, though, which is really important in terms of getting inside of the site. But now comes another layer of defense you're going to have to get through. Papa P's got an 81, and it's got everyone on Davenport's name on it. In fact, they're in there from Papa P. A little bit of a trigger finger there, and it's just going to be a swing that works out. LMG versus LMG, and Julian comes out on top. A little bit of a shock and awe there from Julian. He just kind of went in and just distracted. I guess just scared the daylights out of Bucka. And well, sorry, out of Papa P, and well, it was successful. Now, 24 seconds. The wall will be open, so a plant is available, but at the moment, you still got Anomaly alive, and you know that he's going to be just burning through smokes. Derp's on for 1 kill as well. On to Nazar, and he's got Case in his sightlines as well. This is looking very dangerous here for Davenport, and you can see just how wrong it's going. Derp is going to go and swing in here off the kill of Anomaly. It's just down to Camfrog, and with no time left, it'll be yet another round from Kettering. Really well cleared there from Davenport, but they just weren't able to get themselves inside of the site. Obviously, getting rid of that Maestro was super, super crucial. The Warden, however, as soon as even though the Warden was completely cleared out by the end, even though blue was given to Davenport, it came at a hefty price of 2 players, and you just can't afford to lose that right now against Kettering.
Kettering showing their flexibility, showing that no matter what defensive strategy they bring out, if it's a roam, if it's an extension, or if it is simply a 5-man on-site utility-focused anchor game, that they can win the rounds here on Bank regardless. That last one was as textbook as it goes in terms of utility from Kettering. First, it fell on Bucka's shoulders to deal with the early push from Davenport. He did it twofold, taking down 2 players as they worked their way towards blue stairs. And then when it came to the site push, there really wasn't anything Davenport did wrong at that point. It had already gone awry. They had wasted too much time, lost too many bodies. I took a look at the clock with 5 seconds remaining. Anomaly still had another toxic smoke in his pocket. That just goes to show that Davenport did not apply enough pressure on the site early enough to force the smoke to use that utility, so Anomaly could use those smokes in those last few seconds, delaying what remained on the clock, covering that diffuser, preventing Davenport from recovering it, and just furthering the Kettering success that they have been having here on Bank. And I gotta say, it is surprising to see that Kettering are so strong right now on this map. First of all, I had no idea that Kettering even knew how to play Bank, but, you know, Davenport picking this map and just not living up to the expectations that they have set for themselves based on their performance in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, at the moment, it was also like Davenport are just they were close to clearing that, right? Like you said the exact same thing. Like they got into server and they didn't do anything wrong. That execute just didn't go their way. It was everything that happened prior. And Davenport, they had a little bit, they had I would say a slim window of opportunity where they realized that both of the ADSs were gone. They need to get rid of that shield, and they needed to get rid of it was Bucka. That's right. They need to get rid of Bucka, and obviously you can't do that with guns, right? Like you cannot just twitch it. You can't shoot him with an F2. You can't really, because he's got a shotgun up close, and that just always goes wrong to the attacking side. You had to use it. You had to clear it with utility, with flashbangs, with nades, maybe even just getting the server hatch open as well to flush him out. There was just a lot more options I feel like Davenport could have opted for, and they just didn't do it quickly. But the damage is already done. Camfrog here, speaking of damage, will take just a little bit here as Papa P still playing inside of open area. Very similar strategy here. Davenport will learn to what Kettering ran last time on their upstairs defense. And this is going to be really difficult to clear him out. He's got so much space to work with, and he's also got a lot of room to leave. He's got teammates around him as well as Derp, and you can see above him the hatch is completely open. So Papa P has a lot of options here, but one of those options will get completely shut down here as Camfrog. A massive kill there onto Papa P. Spanny's got to be careful though. The hatch above him is open, so got to be very wary of that. If they can get rid of Derp quickly here, or at least just keep him away from the wall as they try and open it, this could be a really good attack from Davenport, but we'll have to see. The nade inside of Jander's closet will be cleared out. This is a really solid start here for Davenport.
It's a solid start, but it sure isn't perfect. They got the kill onto Papa P, but they took 2 minutes just to get that opening frag and clear out whatever was going on below the site. Keeping in mind, this is a CEO defense. This is a top floor bomb site, and Davenport still need to pivot all their utility and their manpower to taking this top floor control. Now is when they're going to begin their push in through Janitor. One player will walk in, but Camfrog will fall as he does so. Areshkigel will fall next. Amplify getting that kill. Now it's going to be a 4v3, all of a sudden favoring the defense. With that Finka boost, Davenport looking to push in, but once again, they will get denied. It is the Finka herself, Julian, who falls. Nazaru hoping to get this kill, and he does. Spandy will get the follow-up, turning this one back into a 2v2, but 10 seconds remaining, and Davenport are stuck in the closet. There goes Nazaru. Last one alive is Spandy, pistol in hand, but there is simply not enough time. Gets the kill onto Amplify. There is nothing Spandy could do to get that diffuser down or get to the last player. Davenport getting closer and closer to victory each time, but just could not get there in time, of course, before the half concluded. That is 6 rounds in a row from Kettering, looking unstoppable right now.
Time was definitely not of the essence there for Davenport, and you know, I agree. You know, like they got out Camfrog, right? They killed, or Papa P rather. They killed him off. Camfrog was able to secure that, but what can you really do at that point? I mean, you got rid of one player that wasn't really doing all that much, because if you remember, last time that Davenport attacked the upstairs side, they got the Kate off, I think, without going into the basement. They got it off without having to stick anyone inside of archives. So they could have done the same thing. They could have naded it out. There were so many different avenues there that Davenport could have chose in order to get rid of that K-Claw, but they did choose the downstairs side. And whenever you do decide to clear downstairs and try and bucket open, you have to keep in mind that you just don't. The clock is always working against you. Bank is a big map. There's a lot to clear, especially with an Oryx running around and how he can just maneuver around the basement and kind of get up hatches and completely rotate around. You will never have enough time to get rid of that player. So you had to flush him out, get underneath, and get out. But it just took way too much time. I think Davenport struggled with that a lot on their attacking side. But now they're focusing on the defense. We're shifting focus to that, and I'm not sure what they're gonna do on the blue side of things. They might have Nazaru play there like the old-fashioned way, with the smoke, 3 smoke canisters and nothing to lose, as well as a shotgun. We'll have to see what happens. Davenport, they gotta step it up here. They don't have a lot of time to work with. They only have, you know, what, 6 rounds, and then they get into OT. It's gonna be really dangerous territory here for them. Let's see what they can whip out here on possibly our final round if Davenport aren't careful.
Well, Kettering will be looking to begin things much like Davenport did on their top floor attacks, entering from above and clearing out these roamers. The only difference, though, is that Kettering, yep, on cue, they will have success compared to Davenport not being able to collect those early frags. An efficient push, and Dirt finding his 11th kill on the map so far, feeling confident, looking confident, and deservedly so. They are now moving through this map with a really strong pace, something that Davenport could not match on their attacking side, but can they counter it on the defense is the question. Only 60 seconds are gone off the clock, and Kettering have already claimed the opening pick, and now they are already clearing their way throughout this entire first floor. Everyone else from Davenport has backed off. They don't want to risk losing another body in this roam clear. They're just going to play the site, play this blue stairs, and hope that they can delay a little bit more time before the Kettering attack really becomes at its peak.
Well, Nazar is going to rotate away from blue. They will completely give up server, and the moment that Kettering drone this, which I assume won't be a very, long period of time. Well, Kettering now have a minute 25 to assault this site as much as they want to as soon as they drone out the server rack. And they're not even just going for server as well. They're going to go for everything here. They are going to flush out Davenport at every single angle. You can see Amplify opening up the vault hatch, as well as a rotate there, I believe, from, I think I saw Bucka, so, sorry, that's Papa P. So, a lot of pressure being applied here from Kettering, and they have the resources as well as the time to do so. A minute down, and they've got the wall open. You got, I believe, you got 2 canisters left on the side of Nazarus. He had to get rid of 1 while trying to clear the players pushing his shield. Just not a lot going here on the favor of Davenport with that Maestro shield being cleared. Honestly, Kettering can start to go in for a plant whenever they want to. The only person that can challenge us at the moment, well, it's Julian, as Nazareth goes down inside of the site. It'll be a frag fest here as Derp is on for his 3rd, and Spandy just goes down. The sledge rotating into garage. What an attack there from Davenport. Really solid stuff. I liked what they did in terms of gaining pressure and gaining, just that man advantage very, very slowly, and then eventually just came into a lightning fast attack. Really well played there from Kettering. Really good drone work, really good utility usage, and getting rid of that player inside of blue, even though you didn't kill him, definitely gave a very early advantage there to Kettering. That's a 7-0.
Yeah, that is not the scoreline I expected at all. 2 undefeated teams with, relatively even opponents that they've faced so far in the East Conference. I know we were all expecting a much more competitive map, and especially going to Bank. I cannot underscore this enough because we don't see Bank very often in Collegiate, and when we do, it is usually going to favor the team who picked it, the team with the gall to go to a map that is generally left unexplored here in Collegiate, but they go there and they get absolutely trounced. Kettering, I don't know if they've been hiding Bank. I don't know if maybe it's just one of their favorite maps right now in the pool, or simply if Davenport just could not match Kettering blow for blow. Whatever the case, Kettering starting off an amazing way in this series, looking to get this one over with very quickly. They made this first map quick. Maybe they'll do the same on their own map pick of Clubhouse, which is coming up next, but we will be taking a quick break before we get there. Stick around. We'll be right back. Map 1 was a bit of a doozy, Adam, and I'm hoping that Map 2 is a little bit different. Kettering storming ahead to a flawless 7-0 victory on Davenport's map pick of Bank. Right now, this Michigan showdown is certainly going the way of Kettering, but hopefully Davenport have an answer here on Clubhouse, Adam.
Yeah, Kettering is just tossing Davenport into a lake right now, and unfortunately, that's just what we have. But we're going to bank or to Clubhouse next. Clubhouse is one of those maps where it's like, it can be either side. It can be attack or defense. It could be Davenport or Kettering. Maybe Davenport's more aggressive, loose, sort of take your gunfights and run with them playstyle might work out on Clubhouse. But yeah, Bank was definitely not the map to try that sort of playstyle out. They sort of inched their way closer to a round victory. They definitely didn't look like it didn't look like Kettering was immortal, but at the same time, Davenport were definitely just looking a little bit sloppy. And maybe it's just an opening map. Maybe it's just a little bit of a warm up. I'm excited to see what happens on Clubhouse because I feel like maybe this could be that time where we get to see Davenport take maybe one, maybe two, maybe a couple rounds.
I do like your point, the point you made though, that Clubhouse is definitely a lot more of an equalizer, right? A bit fair territory. No matter who picked it, both teams should know how to play it. And thankfully, we can head right on into it now. We'll see what kind of Clubhouse we are in for. Both of these teams, they've learned quite a bit of what works and what doesn't work on Bank. Of course, Davenport learning more of the latter, what doesn't work against Kettering and what they need to improve. But Kettering, they found their stride pretty comfortably on defense. We only got to see one round on attack after all. So now they'll get to start things off on maybe the side that they do not prefer. And maybe Davenport can finally get some rounds on the board.
Right, and it's like, with that advantage, I guess I don't know how collegiate teams like to play usually. I assume it's a very aggressive play style, but the way that Davenport kind of set up, they can be either. They can be Kettering. The way that Kettering plays, they can either be aggressive or they can be extremely methodical. So, Clubhouse, it favors any kind of play style, but there is one thing that all of these maps have in common, and especially Clubhouse, you have a lot of map clearing to do. And that's what's going to happen. I think that's what I feel like is going to be the difference maker between both Davenport and Kettering, like it was on Bank. Now, obviously, Clubhouse a little less map clearing than Bank, but at the same time, more importantly, the garage side, that sort of garage area whenever it's CC, the upstairs whenever it's downstairs, or unless there's a turtle strategy. There's a lot to go through here if you are Kettering, but I think with the way that they've been playing, they've been droning their teammates in, they've been getting map control very quickly. They should have an easy time here.
Yeah, ban phase now completed. In terms of defensive bans, you've got the Kai, which is not much of a surprise to see him off the board, and the Valkyrie, not much of a surprise to see her gone either. And obviously, just as much as bans matter, it also matters who you don't ban. In terms of operators left up, both the Maverick and the Hibana will be able to be played by the attacking team, and as such, Kettering appear to be pulling both out right off the bat. Papa P taking up the reins of the Maverick and Bucka taking up the X-Kairos wielding Hibana. So they've got the double hard breach just in case they want to get every single avenue open on this site. They're not going to have to deal with those Electro Claws, so the Maverick is not going to have any hard time getting those patches open either way, nor will the Hibana, and we're not even seeing any other type of that hard breach denial, except for the presence of the mute from Camfrog. Likely, we'll see those devoted to another position downstairs, possibly over towards Dirt Tunnel, more likely geared up towards that church wall, another avenue that attackers often like to approach from. But Kettering, given that they've got the dual hard breach, given that they've got the X-Kairos pellets and the skeleton key of the Buck, I expect to see a lot of vertical play early on, and that is exactly what Davenport are looking to counter with this roam setup.
You've also got a lot of nades and burn. You got a good combination of both. You have Derp and Papa P with nades, and of course you have the flashbangs possibly on the side of Bucka, maybe on Amplify. I'm assuming he's not going to be bringing hard breach charges considering they have 3 hard breachers, and yeah, you got 6 flashes. This is a really nice setup here going for Kettering, but the one thing I am interested in is how are they going to deal with what looks like to be a roam setup? You have Julian playing upstairs with castle barricades all around. I'm not sure if the moto hatch is open like it typically is in this sort of SSG style roam, but yeah, it's just going to come down to how they can clear this and how quickly they can do it as well. It seems like they're not going to waste any time getting themselves in. I think you can hear the plat wall, the platform wall outside of CCTV getting opened. So, quite the opening here, and it's going to force Spandy away. So, just going to need a little bit of drone work here from Kettering, and you should be all good from there.
Yeah, once Derp pushes up towards rafters and up through garage, he should know that it is relatively clear at this point, and Davenport are starting to fall back. Now that Kettering are opening up a couple of these avenues of approach, they will be able to move in with a little bit more confidence. I believe Nazaro will be the last player they're going to have to force back. The Alibi, interestingly enough, on this defense isn't the most common pick, but whatever roam setup Davenport are bringing out so far, it seems to be working, at least initially. The first kill being found onto Bucka, that is going to be quite problematic for Kettering going forward, because that is your primary hard breacher now removed. A trade will be found. That was a kill by Papa P over onto Ereshkigal in Dirt Tunnel, so they will end up going 1-for-1, but we're still in a 4v4, and Kettering will have some work to do. The presence of the Thermite as well. I mean, seeing him come out, you've got so much of this hard breach, so even though you have lost Bucka, Kettering do have some utility to fall back on.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about it on Bank Joan. If you remember, obviously, like the time is of essence, and that's the one thing that I'm worried about. You have no shortage of hard breach utility, but you're also, yeah, I'm also worried about, you know, how much are they going to be able to get open with only a minute 10 left. The Maverick takes a little bit of time, a lot more than a Hibana would, so it's going to come down to how fast Kettering can do this and get what they want to get. Obviously, they kind of have to figure out what setup they want to do. The Moto Hatch is soft though, so that will definitely benefit them in the long run. And I'm assuming it is going to be a main stairs over, maybe a, you know, a kitchen dirt take as we usually tend to see. That requires the kitchen hatch being opened, and with only a Maverick on the board, that's dangerous territories whenever you've got two C4s up. So I'm really interested to see how Kettering is going to adapt to this, because they've got about 37 seconds of prime time for them to start pushing, because you've got so many C4s on the side of Davenport. One good throw and your round could be in shambles.
Yeah, and especially if they push in so late, they gotta get in early and apply this pressure to burn those C4s, and Derp will be the first player to challenge here on the Moto drop. Just running straight on into Church. Julian had no idea that was coming. Spandy hoping to provide the coverage here from Blue, landing a nice double kill, and that's gonna be successful. 10 seconds left. Kettering need to get a move on, and Nazaru denying Amplify from getting access. Derp pulling out the nade at the wrong time. 4 seconds. They've got to find these last 2 kills, and it is not going to happen. Davenport holding down the site beautifully, wasting time beautifully, and that is going to be their first round of the night here on the defensive clubhouse, already starting things off well.
The cheers are coming out from the crowd here as Davenport finally secure themselves around, and honestly, it looked really good from them, but I'm very surprised at how Kettering lost that. They had so much control, and the moment of impact, whenever, that was really funny. I really liked what Derp did. He healed himself so he could take the damage from the Arena Gate, and it was just hilarious. But the problem was that the diffuser wasn't over by Church. That was where all of your control was, on the side of Kettering. You had everything on the side of Church, but the diffuser was over by Kitchen. It was over by Dirt. That really, really hurt them in the long run, and Davenport took full advantage there. Really, really good play on the side of Camprog and Spandy to lock down the site. So all in all, very, very solid round there from Davenport. I will say they definitely wasted a good amount of time on that roam. I would say maybe a little bit more next time, but hey, I mean, if it works out, it works out.
Just really good stuff, and it's good to see that they didn't let, you know, the 7-0 on Bank, you know, shock their mental too much, I suppose you could say, because they emerged with a pretty coordinated round. And when it came to the site hold, they didn't get as flustered as I kind of expected them to. Even when Kettering started to push in, and you saw Derp just swing on through that Moto door into Church and get that kill onto the completely unaware, I believe it was Julian, over on that castle. He didn't stand a chance, but everyone else on Davenport, Jay, they held their positions down. They knew the advantage that they had, given how much time, or how little time rather, Kettering had to work with. And so all of those adjustments working wonders for them. So a Church defense that has been very successful, and now they'll be looking elsewhere, heading up to CCTV and Cash next. And once again, Kettering will be opening up the round the same way they did last time. Flat wall their priority, and within 30 seconds, that exothermic charge will detonate.
See, oh, that's rough. That happens. But Burn coming on now here. Kettering, there's one thing that they've been doing really, really well so far, and it's just getting themselves in as quickly as possible. They are not wasting time on their defense, and Camfrog, a very ill-advised swing there against Papa P. He'll take him down. That's already half of your garage presence gone here. Nazaru has got a big role to play now, all by himself, sitting inside a garage. He's got what Midas to work with, obviously, but if he loses this position, his crossfire with a rescue goal is basically gone, and half of your site control will already be given to Kettering. And Jonah, this has all happened in the span of 1 minute. There is so much time that Kettering has at the moment, but that swing certainly isn't going to help, as Amplify gives Nazaru his refrag. It was a little bit late, but he's got it secured.
Yeah, good trade there from Davenport. Ereshkigal looking for another, but gotta be quite careful on a swing like this. You do not want to challenge Papa P when he is rearing to go on this platform wall. Anomaly will actually now join his teammate in this endeavor, just holding these angles because they know that Davenport have proven they are okay swinging now and again. And Ereshkigal, rather than full swing out, he'll just hold this angle onto the repelled player of Anomaly. but really just a waiting game while the rest of Kettering work their way in elsewhere. Nazaru will now be the next player to be contested, and he will have no trouble securing a double kill. Papa P just walking in, and Nazaru was more than ready for it. Now, Bucka will get a trade, not onto Nazaru, but onto Ereshkigal, who, again, really wanted to go for the gunfight and eventually died to that very gunfight. And Kettering, really the round, now rests on their ability to apply this pressure from behind.
They're not going to choose to go inside a garage here. Nazaru will finally get taken down, but at what cost? Bucka's on for one, though, and Anomaly swinging in. He's got Diffuser. He's got to be very careful, and he loses his fight somehow. Spandy comes out on top, but Bucka is the one to drill Spandy in the head. It was oh so close there from Spandy. Nearly a clutch from him and another round from Davenport, but Kettering managed to secure it. That was all over the place, but at the same time, Kettering, they adapted on the fly. They realized that garage control was just going to be so difficult against Nazaru. They just decided to shift their focus over towards construction and towards that CC wall, and it worked out in the end. Really nice pressure there from Kettering, and really good call to switch it up immediately because they just knew they were wasting so many resources over on that garage side with no benefits being reaped. So really well played there in the end to Kettering.
The one thing that, Kettering are now realizing is that they can no longer just pick a doorway and walk in for free. It was like that for them on Bank, at least in the one attacking round that we did end up seeing, a flawless round at that. But yes, they didn't take the first round, and even in this last one, round 2, we saw Kettering just kind of try to walk in. It happened twice on the garage doorway, and Nazaru got both kills because Kettering just were not ready for that fight, whether that was simply they had no idea Nazaru was still there, they didn't know he would be willing to swing them, or they thought they could win out in that gunfight against the Rafters player. Kettering are finally realizing that this is not going to be like Bank, that they're going to have to play this one a little bit more composed. For example, if you want to take Rafters next time, instead of just feeding Nazaru kills from that door, maybe you get somebody in from the garage breach, and you get some flashes up, and you get some teamwork going, applying some pressure from multiple angles, just so that you can take that player out without losing 2 bodies in process. Of course, Kettering did end up taking that round, effectively applying pressure from elsewhere, but losing 2 players to the very same opponent in the very same position is no good way to start a round off. And they'll be looking to obviously change that up. They'll be finally opening up this garage wall and maybe working their way in from elsewhere. But as far as timing goes, 30 seconds in, and much like the last round, Kettering are off to an efficient begin.
I'd like to see how Kettering decide to rotate their utility as well to try and burn the amount of utility that's being played here by Davenport. Positions have changed as well on the side of the defense, as they've got Jaeger playing behind motorcycle, which is going to be really difficult to clear out if you can't do it early. And it depends on how much time Camprog can really waste here. If he can waste even just 30 seconds, well, awesome. Really good start there. As he gets cleared out immediately there. Well, there goes my entire analysis. But now it's up to Kettering to see how quickly they can adapt. Get your players with flashbangs in immediately. Get rid of those Wamai discs and those ADSs and just nade the hell out of Nazaru. You have to get rid of him as quickly as possible. And there's no way to do it if you're just going to stall it like this. And obviously a huge advantage to play off of is the fact that Camprog is now dead. I'm not sure if they're going to rotate anyone downstairs into that position again, as Spandy's playing there as well. I'm interested to see how Davenport will react to this, because at the moment, it's really safe here for Nazaru, but once that utility clear comes on out, it could get very dangerous.
Yeah, Spandy is the one now being pressured here, trying to maybe reposition in lounge, trying to maybe find a Kona station to heal back up. Now Spandy certainly needs to heal back up because he is now cut within an inch of his life. Nazaru can't really support from that position, and all right on cue, Amplify will take care of the Thunderbird for good. Derp on a follow-up will take down Ereshkigal. Nazaru still fighting for his life on Rafters, has yet to be taken down, but the rest of his team is falling all around him. Nazaru is now the last player standing. A little bit of damage onto Papa P, but not enough to finish him off. An Anomaly sneaking in from behind. He knew the site was free for the taking, so he'll walk right into CCTV, and he will take care of Nazaru from behind. That is a flawless round from Kettering, certainly learning from their issues in the previous round, cleaning things up, and taking it very easily.
Very aggressive as well there from Davenport, because they just swung a lot of things that they really didn't need to. You saw so many early positions given up there, not only with Camfrog losing his fight inside a swamp. What was even a fight? It was just a death, but you know, losing inside a swamp, and then the rest of the players inside of site just kind of swinging and just giving their bodies up for free. And Kettering kind of just collapsed all around themselves, or sorry, Kettering collapsed all around Davenport, and it just really did not benefit Davenport whatsoever with those aggressive swings. You want to play off of the player inside a garage and let him be the one that kind of just applies pressure, not even having to swing, but kind of just being there as a presence. That's kind of what Davenport, you know, gotta get used to if they want to go to that site, is the fact that they don't have to swing everything. They can just be a presence inside of the site and just waste as much time as possible with utility and with crossfires and with just holding angles. That's literally all you had to do on the side of Davenport, but unfortunately it didn't work out. Kettering now going to have to attack a complete switch up here from Davenport as they go over to Jim and Bedroom.
Yeah, switching things up to the tertiary bomb site, it's a little surprising to see it now in round 4, where Davenport could theoretically go straight back towards Church, a site that they were able to successfully win last time. But I'm guessing their thought process is that they just have seen how strong Kettering are able to adapt when an attack has a couple of issues here and there, right? Kettering went from barely winning a round to getting a flawless round. So Davenport likely fearing any Kettering adaptations if they were to attack the bottom floor again. So they will bring out a unique bomb site here and go to Gym and Bedroom for the first time. Kettering will likely begin this attack much like they have the attacks prior, entering through this platform wall, maybe focusing on CCTV, and a beautiful nade will actually open up the round. It looks like Derp is eager to give his life back, though, because he'll push right up the stairs into the waiting arms of Nazaru, who has a shotgun, and at that range, a shotgun is going to win that fight every single time.
Yeah, it was a bit aggressive there from Derp, kind of getting overzealous, but really good here from Nazaru to retake that position. Now, unfortunately here, Nazaru, he's kind of stuck himself in a very aggressive position as a smoke. And you want to keep that smoke alive, obviously, for as long as you possibly can. And now that he's playing inside of red stairs, he's kind of giving up his soul to this position. And he's going to just have to use his gas in that position instead. He's not going to be able to use it for any site denial here. A beautiful shot there from Bucka as Julian just holding a very, very ill-advised angle. Nazaru, again, going to take up that position, just being the filler. But at the rate that this is going, he might be next.
You know, Julian looked like he would be in a fine position, but Bucka just threw the smoke through the Surya gates of the Aruni. I mean, just walking in, bearing 9 in hand, and winning the gunfight on the pixel angle. Amplify looking to do so again, but can't quite find the angle. But Bucka perfectly timing his swing from behind, and Nazaru certainly going to regret not backing off sooner. Spandy trying to get something back for his team, falls at the hands of Papa P, and leaving the 1 kill now. Ereshkigal last alive against 3 players. Finding 1 kill onto Amplify is a good start. 100 HP still to work with, but Kettering, with the time that they have remaining, a luxury at this point. All they've got to do is sit back and take their sweet time. They're not going to do that, though. Bucka will push in by himself, so no trade is able to be found, and Ereshkigal will pick up his 2nd kill, now only in a 1v2.
You don't have a lot of options in terms of the Roni when it comes to isolating fights, but he's gonna do it as he knocks the skull out of Papa P's head. It's 3 for him. Anomaly's all on his own. There's no way that he loses this raid. He's got an ACOG in his hand versus a Roni with 16 bullets. Oh, but he does! Ereshkigal, the man with the Skyrim mod name, one of the weirdest names I've ever casted in my entire life, just shows off why he deserves such a Excalibur-like name. What an incredible round from him. Davenport should not have won that. If I'm a gambling man, I'd put my entire house on that round going into Kettering. But it didn't happen. What a round from Davenport. What a round from what a round from Ereshkigal.
Wow. That was... Ereshkigal had no kills, by the way, entering in that round, and a 1v4 clutch.
He had no
now
right
at the
to win
top
that. of
the leaderboard. Now at the top of the leaderboard, all 4 kills being found in a very, very impressive fashion. Let's not, you know, bash Ereshkigal too much here. Obviously, he did an exceptional job, but Kettering, the question marks are aplenty, one could say. It was a 4v1. And rather than taking that fight in a 4v1, they took that in a 1v1, then a 1v1, then another 1v1, and then to end the round, another beautiful 1v1. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do not want to play a 1vx situation. As the team with the advantage, there is no better time to play together and to play with your teammates. All you've got to do is find a trade. If the first gunfight doesn't go well, you know what? That's fine. Play close to your other teammate that's remaining and find the trade there. Oh, you know what? If that's a problem, you still got a 2v1. Play close to your teammate and get another trade. None of that. None of that happened for Kettering. They kind of just threw their bodies at Ereshkigal with what they learned so far this map. They probably said, you know what? We can take this fight, no problem. He's got no kills. We've got some frags. Let's hunt him down. And we saw the consequence of that misplay. Ereshkigal, excuse me, four kills in those last 60 seconds. Kettering didn't even stand a chance. It felt like making a couple of ill-advised moves, and well played there to close it out.
Obviously, what Davenport have been doing wrong most of the time is just swinging aggressively, but unfortunately, Kettering were the one to do that instead. So, all around, really well played there from Ereshkigal. And like you said, I mean, it's the goal of a 1vx player to just isolate as many gunfights as you can. Well, Kettering essentially just did it for him. They just all swung out at once, really gave him as much space as he needed. And, well, you can see exactly what happened. Spandy sitting inside of Strip. Probably the least drone position in the entire map. Because people are just too lazy. See if Anomaly does drone him out. Well, he hasn't. He hasn't just yet. Usually what you do in this position is you just place a cutoff inside of B1, or you place one inside of R. But if Spandy's able to get around that, if he's somehow, while all 5 players are alive, able to go through that moment in time where no one is looking at cams and get his flank going, well, it's a possibility where he can win the entire round. We'll have to see. But Kettering are wasting absolutely no time getting themselves upstairs and getting themselves established. With a minute 25 left, they've got almost everything that they need to be open, completely open.
Yeah, Davenport not putting as much focus into that full-fledged extension. Instead, their hopes in this round lie on Spandy's shoulders. If he can step up at the right moment, this one could be over for Kettering, and Spandy will find the first one and back off to a safety of the strip club here. He won't need to worry about a team forcing him out, at least from this angle. Kettering now need to make the decision. Do they want to hunt him down or ignore him and just push the site? They've got to make this decision very soon because they've only got 50 seconds remaining to get this kill and push the site, or one or the other at this point. I mean, they got to do something. Derp's going to find some trouble on the long angle. Spandy, landing a couple of bullets here and there. Looks like Anomaly will give up on that and look towards the bottom floor. Nazzaro using this distraction to pick up a kill onto Papa P as well. And Kettering are all over the place. They don't know what to do. It looks like they have decided to ignore the player on that first floor, but it has cost them another life, and it may cost them more if Spandy steps up at the right moment.
This is dangerous here. Spandy has so much to play with at the moment. Nate is going to go absolutely nowhere there for Derp. It's a 5 versus 2, and Spandy's still alive. They will eventually clear him out. But Jonah, the time is at 5 seconds now. Kettering will drop into the site with absolutely no plan to win it, as Davenport lock out a 3rd round for them and take a lead, something we haven't seen at all in this entire game here. Kettering, they're not on the board as much as Davenport is anymore. Davenport have adapted. They understand what they're doing on this clubhouse defense. It's very obvious that this map is extremely comfortable to them. And all in all, really, really well played there to Spandy. We talked about that, that dead second where no one is looking at drones. And that's exactly what Spandy took advantage of, playing inside a strip club, a place that doesn't get droned all that much. Because in reality, you shouldn't really need to drone it. Usually just hold a cutoff, but fortunately, no one was able to do that successfully. No one was playing on jail repel to, ward him off. Everything just went wrong there. Spandy was indeed the wrench inside of Kettering's plans.
And that round, whether it was a consequence of simply indecision during the round itself or a consequence of Kettering still being flustered from their 4v1 loss in the previous one, a lot of issues. Lot of issues coming through the woodwork for the attack, something that they will need to remedy here on their final attacking round if they want to emerge from the half with that even score line. Of course, this map does generally lean defensive side, and we do generally see the defensive team, and Davenport in this case, get that 4-2 split. But this map also is no stranger to a 3-3 even score line, and Kettering on their own map pick you would expect them to be just as strong on the attacking side, or at least prove that they are comfortable on the attacking side and aren't just like every other team out there, only capable of getting 2 rounds. The one solace, though, that they can take here is that the 2 rounds they have been able to secure thus far have both been on the same site. They've both been on CCTV and Cash. That is where they will have to attack this time. The most recent attack was flawless, in fact, so they'll be looking to repeat that success. But Davenport, just the same, they've found some success since then. They've found some things that work. Maybe that thing is, in this case, Camfrog, just sitting in a corner, going for the unexpected play here when Bucka crouches in. Maybe he won't know that the Jaeger is just sitting in the corner.
Obviously, we haven't seen Camfrog's main potential yet, because most of the time he's just been shot down within 30 seconds, so he can be big here. I really do think that Camfrog is, you know, kind of a... well, it's something that Kettering is going to have to worry about. If they can't clear him out, if they can't figure out what he's going to do, he's going to grow into a problem derp. He could possibly nade the shield inside of Cash. If there is one, I'm not sure if there is. Well, we'll clear out a Reshigal at the moment. Just applying pressure. Enough pressure for Reshigal to kind of force himself outside and playing inside of Khan instead. Now comes this ill-fated garage attack. We've seen this be a problem here for Davenport so many times. And Camfrog just, he can't catch a break, man. He'll get taken down again as Spanny claims his refrag there. Taking down Derp. That's one set of nades gone. It's absolutely huge there. If they can't get Amplify over to burn as quickly as possible, Papa K might just have to shoot him down, and Papa K's gone! The nades, the only avenue that you have of clearing Nazru that isn't facing him head on, which just hasn't worked at all recently. It's completely dead in the water. This garage attack has been thwarted, and it seems like it has been shut down for good, as they no longer want to focus their resources over there.
Yeah, Kettering now forced to pivot. This is a good decision at this point in the round, but is it coming a little too late? They've already committed a lot of utility and a lot of bodies to that garage position, and all for naught at this point, only losing someone in process. So now they'll be looking towards Cash, trying to approach from the other side. Bucka will be looking to get this wall open, but Spandy looking to change the course of the round, securing his own double kill. Nuzaru working his way back into CCTV proper, actually still on the Raptors position, will claim another kill for his own, eventually answered by Anomaly, but now the Thermite is the last player standing. Davenport seconds away from claiming that 4-2 defensive split, and there it is. Spandy, a triple kill, Nuzaru, a double kill, and a beautiful defensive performance from Davenport, once again remedying the mistakes that they had on CCTV and Cash from the 2 previous rounds and taking that one very cleanly. Kettering making the surprising decision to put so much focus into Rafters despite the trouble they've had with that position in the past, and losing the round essentially because of it.
It's just that garage position over and over again. It's held down every single time from Nazru. The man is an absolute menace. He cannot be stopped inside of garage, and you can see why. He has the perfect blend of aggression and passiveness where he can kind of just play behind his utility and stay safe while also being a threat to anyone that tries to lurk in. He completely shuts down the option to swing him and just makes it so you have to clear his utility, and obviously not very easy, as you can see or as you saw. But now that Davenport are on their attack, this is where we saw them lose 6 rounds in a row last time we saw them on attack. So I'm concerned. There's a little bit of concern there, but yeah, on a map like Clubhouse, things have been going great for them so far on this defense. If they're able to play together like they have been, and get a little bit of that individual play that we've also been seeing from players like Nazru, from Ereshkigal, and from Spandy, got a recipe for success. But we'll have to see what happens here, because Kettering, they tend to bring out some pretty interesting strategies. They definitely do not let up in terms of the pressure when it comes to those roams. Let's see what they will do. But the basement defense here, very interesting. Evil Eye, I'm gonna see how that works out later, but very interested to see what will happen.
Yeah, the goal there from Papa P will be to use that Evil Eye to deal with whatever, hard breach is placed on the kitchen hatch. You can aim that Evil Eye down through the floorboards in hopes of getting that dealt with, or at least giving you some intel about when you should get that impact tricking started, because Papa P also has those impacts and can do that as well. Spandy! Oh wow. My lord! Bucka looked like he was going for the surprise play, but Spandy had a drone. He must have had a drone on Bucka's position. He walks in, pre-fires the mute, and sends Bucka to Kingdom Come. A beautiful start for Davenport. And yes, while Davenport's attacks on Bank were messy to say the least, this is a very different situation. Not only is this a more comfortable map for them as it seems, but Kettering no longer have the flawless confidence that they were exuding on the previous map. They're now fighting from a disadvantage. Now they're probably feeling a little bit more pressure. They're now fighting against the Collegiate Special, is what I would like to call it. I know, Adam, you're new here, but the Collegiate Special, it's what we like to call the situation where one team will win their opponent's map pick, the other team takes their opponent's map pick, a flip-flop, nonsensical occurrence of maps, and it ends up on that decider. That's Davenport's goal here, obviously, and if they can continue with that aggression they just showed in the early entry on this round, if Spandy can use this vertical play and get some kills here, they may be on pace for that very thing.
Yeah, and pace is definitely the word we want to use here as well, as we're talking about. We've been saying this back and forth a lot, I know, Jonah, but it's the pacing, right?
Yeah.
Time is of essence, and Davenport right now, they're using their time wisely. Obviously, the impact trick here is going to be difficult, but there's an easy way to deal with that, and that's just to shoot 2 pellets instead of 4. Don't use all your utility at once. Be very patient. You have 14 pellets with 7 shots to work with. Just take your time here, but it seems like they want to do this aggressively. Davenport are wasting absolutely no time on applying pressure into that basement site, and that's what you want to do whenever you have this time going down here. The hatch will get open, and a swing from Papa P. It's a gamble, but it certainly won't work out. 1 HP for Ereshkigal. He was oh so close to getting that kill, but he's not able to secure it. 37 seconds now. Davenport with a 2-man lead. They've got so much to work with here.
Yeah, and a lot of utility to spend as well. One of those players will be taken care of thanks to Anomaly and the SMG-11 he is wielding. Spandy now confidently going for this drop, but actually he's in a bit of trouble. A smoke grenade in the face, Nazaru falling at the same time, and Anomaly taking care of another player. That's Julian dead. 10 seconds left. Kettering have recovered this one in a big way. Anomaly comfortable in Dirt Tunnel. Amplify comfortable here in Church, and he will whip around, securing a double kill to end the round for Kettering. That was a 3v5 for Kettering. Davenport had everything going their way, but when it came to the execute, that is where things fell apart. Kettering take the round.
Davenport just decided to switch up their attack at the very last second. You saw the sledge just open into Kool-Aid, into Ashwall, whatever you call it, and just make his way down the hall. And they didn't clear out that Aruni. I don't even think they droned her either. Really ill-advised there. I get that they wanted to get away from the smoke as much as possible, but at the same time, you had him locked in dirt. You had his position guaranteed. With that Aruni, you didn't have that same exact intel. Really, really rough there from Davenport. It was a quick adaptation. It could have worked had the Aruni obviously not been there, but just was super duper rough there. Kettering, you can see that they've still got their feet firmly planted in this series here. They're still alive and waiting. Now they're going to go over to, what we consider a tertiary bomb site in most cases. They're going to be going over to gym and bedroom. Pretty standard setup here. Last time this was played over on the side of Davenport, they just kind of swung it a bunch. They got really aggressive there, and it seems like that's kind of their way of clearing utility as well. On the attacking side, they really do tend to just swing shields a lot of the time and just not worry about clearing the utility. It's a recipe for disaster, and we'll have to see if it does, net them anything this time around. But certainly a lot of utility to go through, especially with the way that Kettering have been playing on defense.
That was gonna be a heartbreaker for Davenport. There's no question about that. I mean, 4-2 lead. They were, seconds away, it felt like, from a 5-2 lead. A 3-round lead on their opponent's map pick. My oh my, that would have felt good. But to go from the possibility of a 3-round lead to now only a 1-round lead and your confidence completely shaken. Certainly a turn of events that I don't think they were expecting, but Kettering more than happy to secure momentum, maybe you could call it, at this point in the map. They'll be looking to hold this cache CCTV side against whatever clear that Davenport are looking to get going, but in fact, Davenport are going a lot more direct than Kettering were prepared for, or at least expecting. Straight over towards this jacuzzi wall, dealing with the mute jammers, dealing with those bandit batteries, and there goes that wall. Papa P, he's going for the bandit trick. He wants these X-Pyros pellets off the wall, and he will get that done successfully. They have not opened that castle barricade between Jim and that 90 hall there, and that's going to leave, well, the opportunity for Kettering to continue to go with that bandit trick unless Davenport can solve this problem. Papa P actually gets a kill onto Camfrog there. No more bandit tricking, but a frag going his way.
That's rough there. Papa P, his only job there was to get bandit tricks off, and now he's got kills. He's applying so much pressure right now, but Nazru will take down Amplify. 4 versus 3. Very, very slow now here from Davenport. They might have a recipe here for nades underneath. Spandy's the only one that has a nade left, though. They've got to be extremely careful with how they want to handle this. It seems like that nade is going to go into Batman, but nobody is home for that, so it won't deal any damage. All of your nades are gone now. Davenport are just going to have to go in, and they're going to have to go in dry. Not a lot of utility to work with. And Papa P will take down a rescue goal. And oh, Spandy with a beautiful shot there onto Papa P, carving a bullet-sized skull, a hole in his skull. 3 versus 2, and Kettering, I mean, they've got 50 seconds to delay. They have a C4 to work with. I'm not counting them out just yet, but Davenport, the man advantage, usually whenever it's in their way, tends to stay in their way, as we've seen historically. But Nazru, oh, don't tell me he fell off the building. I think that's exactly what happened, and you know that you can't recover him at this point. A 2 versus 1, though, and it seems like Spandy's just going to take matters into his own hands as he claims 3 on the round. You don't need that Maverick, I guess.
Yeah, Spandy just walking in and doing the dirty work, pushing up main stairs, a beautiful shot onto Papa P, and then rolling around, just swinging over towards that gym door and finishing it off as well. And there's a rescue confirming in chat that somebody did in fact fall off the roof. So could have been a tough ending in that round for Davenport had things not gone their way, had Spandy not stepped up in the way that he did. But regardless, Davenport continuing to maintain now the 2-round lead as they will reestablish that position. But Davenport in that round made a bold decision not to clear out gym and bedroom, not to apply any pressure towards construction, very little pressure towards logi as well, logistics, that room connecting that hallway, that main stairs area to construction through a couple of rotates. Because of that, Kettering, in theory, should have been able to play a lot more freely on the site. They could rotate through construction, through logi, over towards that main stairs position very comfortably. A danger, to say the least, for Davenport, but they made that work beautifully. They made sure to collect those kills on the site. They applied enough pressure from the windows. They applied enough cutoffs elsewhere that even if they didn't deal with those roamers or that extension on the cache side directly, they forced those extended defenders to come back to the site, and by doing so, could take them down before they could eventually secure the site itself. That's well played, a bold decision, a risky one, but it paid off for them, and now they're back up to 5-3.
And the thing is that Kettering, with the position that they've been playing, they should have been the ones that were able to punish Davenport for doing that, for going so direct. They should have been able to toss C4s at them, obviously peak CC window to just a little bit more pressure. There's so much there that Kettering could have done, but they just opted to kind of just stay where they were. They were very complacent, and Davenport took advantage of that expertly, can I just say. Really well played from them. Played their windows exactly like you said, and everything just worked out for them. They played that super, super patiently, just waited for the frags to come to them, and the rest is history. So now Kettering are going to have to adapt to this. They're going to be going over to CC this time around. I'm not sure exactly how this one's going to end. I feel as though this garage pressure may be the main thing that kind of decides between this round being an attacker side round and this round being a defender side round. Another thing that Kettering are very, very good with and have been very good with as well, utility. C4 is going to get tossed out there from Anomaly, but I think it got stuck on a wall. Nade's going to get tossed out as well. A lot of utility flying around everywhere, but like I said, the utility, very, very important for this game. Kettering, they use a lot of it and they use it effectively. Nade's going to go on in here again just to make sure nothing is on the wall. Nobody is on the wall. No band tricks coming out here from Anomaly. The wall will get open safely. Only a minute left as well. With a minute down as well. Really good timing from them. Let's see what Davenport decide to do next. It's that next step that matters the most. Is Derp going to be the one to keep himself inside a garage as well and apply all that pressure that he needs to, or is he going to get cleared out easily?
Right, Kettering now They're going to have to defend both positions because they aren't sure which one Davenport wants to push just yet. They make that decision. Is it going to be a cache opening, pressure from behind, or is it going to be that barrage contest forcing their way towards Derp? Like you said, Adam, it looks like Derp is their focus. You've got Nazaru working his way in from below. You've got some support from Spandy on that garage door proper, but the one element that Davenport need to be wary of is the player sitting down in oil pit. I believe it's Bucka? It was Bucka, but he'll back off and actually unable to support his teammate from a beautiful nade from Nuzaru, Camfrog, Julian. They'll line up 2 more kills. Amplify gets one back, sure, but now it's a 2v4 with Kettering on the back foot in a pretty big way. You've got Papa P hoping to hold down this site with the Alda. He'll do so with a good shot onto a Reshkigel, but he'll still need to find a couple more kills. Amplify, where is he with that support? The utility from Davenport is coming in. Amplify positioning on red stairs, but gets mowed down, and Spandy is the one to finish things out with a nice headshot onto Papa P. The LMG ringing true, and Davenport looking good. 6-3. It is match point for them now, and Kettering, they're going to take a quick pause to figure out what they need to fix.
That was just clinical there. Absolutely clinical from Davenport on that garage clear. They just cleared out the Wamaya discs and the ADSs, lickety split. They got rid of it immediately, and they also shot the C4 that was coming from that oil pit pressure. Like you said, Bucka was a huge factor in that round, deciding on if it was going to be garage control for the attack or not, and he died. Or well, he lost the C4 rather, and then he died. So really, really, really good stuff there from Davenport. They cleared that out extremely well. They wasted no time to nade out the Wamai, and they forced out the mute because he couldn't really do much of that position, right? Like, what are you going to do sitting at the bottom of oil except for watch the stairs? You can't climb up the ladder, obviously. You're going to have to go around and pressure another way, and they had that way locked down as well. I think there was a player sitting maybe secret window. I'm not sure how they got rid of him, but nonetheless, really good stuff there on the side of Davenport. They erred on the side of caution for a little bit before deciding to get aggressive inside a garage. And it was so well played there. Usually Kettering, what I have my eyes on for them is their utility usage. Their utility usage is really good. But that time around, Davenport had their number. They had so many nades to work with, a lot of flashes, and they used every single piece of utility to their advantage. I didn't see one piece of wasted utility. Just really well played there from Davenport.
The difference maker in these CCTV cash rounds from both teams has been the Raptors' position. I mean, it has been, can the defense hold that down, and can the attackers find a way to deal with it? Kettering never figured it out. On all 3 attacking rounds, when they attacked this site, they could never deal with Raptors. Despite that, they won 2 of those rounds. Don't get me wrong. The 3rd time, they couldn't deal with him, and they lost it. But here it is, a case where Davenport, who clearly understands how to hold down Raptors on the defensive side, they also know how to attack it as well. Derp didn't stand a chance. That entire team, I mean, all that utility, those frag grenades, the bullets just coming down range, taking care of that Raptors player beautifully, and putting Kettering in a really uncomfortable position. The timing on Bucka's position, like you talked about, Adam, downstairs in oil pit, he had to make the choice. Does he play for the C4, or does he scamper back to the bomb site? And he kind of got caught on that in-between. He was a little bit late back to the site, and if he had stayed a couple of seconds longer, maybe he would have been able to prevent Derp from falling at the hands of that very, very powerful attack. Something that Kettering, a question that they're going to have to grapple with here during this timeout. They've got to now chain 3 rounds together, 3 rounds on 3 different sites on defense here, if they want to head to overtime and have a chance at taking their own map pick, because Davenport are looking good right now.
Yeah, Davenport are looking great. I mean, there's just no slowing down for them. Kettering, they just can't find their footing at the moment. And honestly, I think it comes down to the fact that they're just playing right into Davenport's playstyle. Davenport, they take it slow and then they just ramp up the aggression at the snap of a finger. And at the moment, it's Kettering are kind of just swinging right into them. They're giving them those frags and just allowing all the pressure in the world to go in the favor of Davenport. There's a lot of ill-advised swings I'm seeing on the side of Davenport, on the side of Kettering, which, a while ago we saw the exact same issue, but on the side of Davenport. And I get the aggressive playstyle. I get wanting to do something for your team, but you have so much utility to work with. You have C4s, you have Maestro Cams, smoke grenades. Everything is in your favor as long as you're on the defense on the utility side of things. But I don't know. I just didn't like the way that Kettering were kind of they weren't trusting their utility. They weren't trusting their position. Now, obviously, you kind of have to get aggressive whenever you lose that garage control, but they lost 3 lives in the span of 10 seconds. It's really risky business there on the side of Kettering. And Davenport, I mean, at the same time, you can't really blame Kettering while Davenport are just playing really, really well right now.
And Kettering taking that quick tactical timeout. Here in the Collegiate Championship, teams have the opportunity of taking up to 2 tactical pauses, and the combined time cannot exceed 5 minutes. And so Kettering taking just a couple of minutes to work out whatever kinks they feel like they need to before they head into the, I guess, the second half of their defensive half, I suppose you could say. 3 rounds down, they were only able to find one of those 3. And on their own map pick, of course, they have got to be concerned about this, not only for their prospect in this round, but you look towards Cafe, you look towards that third and final map of this series that it really feels like we're going to end up on in a moment. And Davenport, they've got all the momentum right now. They've got all the confidence right now. And it looks like that Bank may have just been a warm-up map for them. This is turning into a series and a half, and Kettering, they're going to have to come up with an answer right now. They do not have any more cushion to play with. They've got to figure out what to do on this Church and Arsenal bomb site. They'll be heading downstairs to hold this one down.
Now, last time around, what we saw from Kettering is we saw quite the play from, I believe, or no, was that might have been Davenport, but Kettering, I mean, they turtled up. You know, they got, once one player was cleared, and I believe it was really early on whenever Sledge, I think it was Spandy, just Kool-Aid himself into CC. You can't really bank on that aggressive play happening again, right? Kettering are just going to be playing extremely passive this time around. Davenport are going to take advantage of that. Obviously, you've got a little bit to drone here, but usually if there is a turtle strategy, you know, you clear this out really, really early on. At the same time, there is somebody sitting inside of Logi, and that is Bucka. Got an MP5K in hand. He could be a difference maker here, even not just for kills, but for time. As you can see, Camfrog will go down as well. Early frag there. Not what you want to see, especially when you already have Bucka upstairs being a presence as well that I'm not even sure if Kettering are aware of, or Davenport are aware of. The drone is just barely missing this mute. I don't think they know. It looks like they know someone's up here, but they just don't know where. Bucka's about to find out soon that Spandy's inside a con, and it's a rude awakening. As it's 4 versus 4. A good refrag there, clearing out Bucka. You now have complete top floor control. You're going to have to use this as soon as possible. You got to get your hatches open quickly, because last time around we saw a massive stall on the side of Davenport.
Really felt like a situation where we were going to see that one turn into a 5v3, but Spandy hitting an impressive shot. Good awareness that somebody was still up on that top floor trying to contest them, and in a position that looked like would be Bucka's saving grace for Kettering. It actually ends up being his demise. So now the vertical play begins. Like you said, Adam, Kettering now have to deal with the onslaught of the Davenport approach from above. They're getting these hatches opened up. The kitchen hatch will be their next target. That's what Ereshkigal will now look to do with these pellets. 2 impacts still in Papa P's hand, and he may be going for an impact trick here, and he will successfully get those pellets off, but certainly not enough impacts and, well, not enough time to fully waste off the clock here. Big kill, though, for Derp. He'll take care of Spandy, and once again, Kettering will take this advantage. This kitchen hatch now about to be opened up. Kettering will have to fall back and be careful. With 30 seconds left and still 7 drones, Davenport do have a couple of options to work with. They could approach from Arsenal, go for that drop, or they could work their way around from the back. But now that we see Nazaru creeping through dirt, it does look like Arsenal is going to be their approach.
This individual play here from Nazaru is literally everything. If he can secure his kills, this round will be in the hands of Davenport, and it seems like he'll do just that. He can't kill Anomaly behind AK racks, though. The smoke is still alive, and they don't know this. The plane's gonna have to go down in their Ereshkigal. He's out in the open here. Anomaly just has to swing, and he's got the swing down. Oh no, the kill. He could have got Anomaly there, but Ereshkigal was just too aggressive. He didn't plant in the back corner. He put his entire body on the line there and planted right behind the bomb chassis. That was just so aggressive. He could have been planting behind the wall. That's just unbelievable. Really nice try there from Nazaru, though. That was everything there. That entire dirt play from him was the round in his hands, and unfortunately, he just wasn't able to secure the kill onto Anomaly, and nor was Julian quick enough to get it again. That is just so unfortunate there from the side of Davenport. 6-4 now. Kettering secure yet another downstairs defense. Davenport just cannot seem to crack this one, but as they go into CC, this is a site that's been looking pretty decent from them. Could be what Kettering need. We'll have to see if we'll be going to around 12 or if we'll be going to a map 3 instead.
I didn't realize how close that actually was to being a Davenport round until we saw like the post-round kill cam. We saw a little overview of the site, and we saw just as, you know, we saw that mute sneak around the AK rack, we saw Julian, like the Finka sneak around behind. He was seconds away. I mean, milliseconds away from getting that kill. It just so happened that the timing of the swing, that little ring around the rosy around the AK rack, resulted in Kettering taking the round. I mean, just so close for Davenport finding that kill. Even though the plant was denied, it was a 1v1. I mean, that last defender was already very lit up. All Julian had to do was get that final kill. It would have been a triple kill for him. It would have been a beautiful way to close out the round. If there was one more second on the clock, that round goes to Davenport. But just because, I mean, there simply wasn't that slight cushion of time they needed, Kettering will squeak it out. And I mean, just barely take it out of their hands. They still need 2 more rounds. Keeping in mind that Church and Arsenal was the only site that Kettering were able to defend successfully in their first site rotation. They've done it again. Congratulations to them. But that wasn't the big problem. Now they've got to defend not one, but both of the bomb sites that they were not able to secure last time. They'll start with CCTV and Cash in that endeavor.
I think that Kettering had the right idea last time they were defending CCTV cast, right? They had themselves inside a garage. They had a player inside of oil to help out Derp. But unfortunately, wow, that is a kill that Derp absolutely should not have gotten. Right onto a Reshkagal sitting inside of the CC, or rather outside of the CC wall. Derp is getting jiggy with it. This is really dangerous right now from the side of Kettering. Very aggressive, but at the same time, it's working out so far. You've gotten rid of your Habana, which it's not any utility gone on in terms of the wall denial. They don't really, or in terms of the wall breach, they don't really need that. But that right there, you absolutely needed that Maverick. You needed that Maverick to open up the garage wall, and Bucka will shut him down. Not only does the Maverick go down, but a set of flashbangs on the side of Habana also go down. So the burn that you were hoping for to get rid of Derp is all but gone. It's just Julian and Camfrog in a 2 versus 5 now. So much control on the side of Kettering. Camfrog will claim the player, one of the players sitting inside of garage. The Rafters player is now gone, so you've got at least something to work with on that front. But you just look at the rest of the map, you look at the rest of the setup here. I mean, Kettering just have so many tools that they can work with right now.
Yeah, they can be quite comfortable in the remainder of this hold. Of course, that can lead to a little bit of complacency, as we've seen in the past, but it does not seem that this round is going to be another example of that. Bucka will down Julian, who ends up getting revived, I believe, by their own Finka boost. Now Julian, that was Camfrog maybe who got down. Now Julian will sneak around towards Rafters, finally taking care of Bucka, but still 3 players to find. Camfrog on low HP. Julian does have one more Finka boost to use, and he will deploy it just in the nick of time. But Kettering have some intel about exactly what Davenport are hoping to throw at them. Anomaly will finish off Julian, and Amplify will round the corner to finish off that final attacker, and Kettering will take 2 rounds in a row, only 1 round away from overtime. We're going to have to see all 12 rounds of regulation to see how this one ends.
Crazy finish we're gonna have here inside of Clubhouse. Really well played as well there to Kettering to lock that down, especially Derp, man. This guy, we need to highlight Derp. They have been absolutely incredible. There's just no other way to put it. Incredible plays here from Derp all around. He's getting really aggressive though, which is it kind of scares me sometimes, but it's working out so far. He's been absolutely phenomenal for the team here, and he could lead Kettering into that overtime. We'll have to see what happens here on the side of Davenport, as they're going to have to attack a gym and bedroom. Last time, I mean, we got to be honest, it was pretty convincing fashion the way that Davenport were able to attack this. But now that Kettering, they've kind of understood what they're going to need to do here. They kind of understand that, you know, they can't get too aggressive. They can't give up control too easily. This might be a recipe for success from them. We'll just have to wait and see. The way that Davenport attacked this last time was very direct. They forced, like you said, all the extended players into a rotate back into the site where they caught them out from the windows, as well as the jacuzzi wall and the Logi hatch. This time around, though, what I feel like Kettering needs to do is kind of just stand firm. Just hold the control that they have and use it to their advantage. And Honestly, I've been saying a lot that you can't get too aggressive and peek too many things. I feel like at this moment in time, Kettering needs to apply pressure to those players outside of windows and sitting outside of Jacuzzi. Make them uncomfortable, make them unable to play around those site windows. That way your site players on the side of Kettering can be extremely comfortable with the way they're playing. But an interesting thing we have here, Monty, gotta keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, bold decision here from Davenport, especially considering this is, again, another match point for them, the chance to put it away. But maybe they're hoping that, you know, this is the time to bring out that surprise. Good Maverick hole there, and Papa P gets exposed, tries to send out a C4 to respond to the damage that he was just dealt, but it will come up essentially with nothing. And Papa P, with very little HP remaining, will now take up a prone angle here on the main stairs, trying to shoot this MP7 through the one small little Maverick hole, but that is not the easiest weapon to control at that range, so he'll be forced back. Davenport, once again, taking this direct approach, and so far they're finding a good bit of success with it, getting a lot of progress done here in not that much time. I mean, still a minute 45 to work with, a lot of options. Now the question is, though, how will they get the Monty in the building? They've got to work him in somehow that doesn't involve vaulting a window or entering through a crossfire, so this is where they're going to have to get a little bit less direct. They're going to enter him all the way through garage and work him around from the other side.
Now they're obviously going to have to worry about clearing Derp out, and he's got so much utility to work with, a lot of jammers, he's got his discs. But yeah, that Monty is looking to be kind of the exact counter to that, right? Just be a presence to force him in. A beautiful nade there from Julian, however. He takes down Anomaly playing inside of that gym rotate and also drops Papa P down to very low HP. It's a good start here from Davenport. Camfrog's going to get himself in. He's got to be careful, though. The con holes to his left are going to be really difficult to deal with. But we'll have to see exactly what they can do here. Nade's going to come out here from Derp. Sorry, against Derp, but there's a disc there to deal with that, unfortunately. I'm not sure how they're going to clear this one out. Oh! Wow! Derp is going to threat the needle as well. Monty Camfrog going to try and take things into his own hands, but that is an absolutely tragic kill there. Derp should not have secured that. 40 seconds left here, and Derp is still a presence. He might not be inside of Cash any longer. Well, now he's going to rotate over. He's just playing this so wisely.
Now if he rotates that CCTV window, I mean, he could line up a couple of kills here. There's a double, there's a triple, there's a quad for Derp. He does exactly as he could, steps up at the right moment and says goodnight to Davenport's hopes. It's all up to Spandy. He's got 15 kills, the man you want in this position, but Bucka says no, takes him down before he could line up another, and Kettering, they have stormed back into the form we saw on that first map. That is 3 rounds in a row. We're headed to overtime.
That is unbelievable from Derp. The man has just been performing at every single twist and turn for his team. This has been excellent to watch here from the side of Kettering. Derp is just on top of things constantly. The amount of pressure that he has just been constantly applying as well has just been so well calculated, to be honest. Like, he's not giving up too many positions whenever he gets aggressive. He's not giving up a lot. He's taking more. As a matter of fact, we saw him take over CC and just make this round his. That's all he did. And he was just, I mean, the fact that he was able to line up that shot there. Whew, what a man right there. What a player. Derp is on for 12 kills as well. Stunning series from him. He's bringing Kettering back with a massive charge here. Let's see what Kettering can do as they go downstairs. A site that has just been so strong for them recently, albeit last time around. Remember what we saw? That round was, like you said, inches away from being in the hands of Davenport. So we'll see if Kettering are going to be able to keep those inches in their favor.
Well, I was going to say that maybe the defensive side isn't for Kettering. I mean, if that's what... I mean, that's at least the way they started off the half, but they have since recovered it in a big way. Yeah. And with all the momentum firmly in their grasp, especially the defensive momentum, 3 rounds completely unanswered. Davenport, Kettering are probably feeling quite comfortable. This site, though, it was, like you said, Adam, not super convincing. And if Davenport can continue with that same early round efficiency, clearing out Kettering from above, moving down through the site, getting the vertical pressure established, using those nades as beautifully as they were able to last time, they could have that similar success again. They'll spot out dirt on rafters. They know that there is somebody lurking above, if not multiple defenders lurking above. There are several. And Davenport, they won't be at least opening up that platform wall right away and opening it up in the traditional way in terms of dealing with this roam, but they will be applying pressure to the top floor nonetheless. Baka in a very dangerous position. Nazaru, he had already dropped into Logi, and Baka had no idea.
What Kettering decided to do this time around was, instead of playing inside, deep in gym and deep in Logi, they kind of just brought their defense over to exactly where Davenport tend to start their attack upstairs. But unfortunately, it did not work out because Davenport recognized that. They went inside of Logi instead, got themselves established early, and claimed a freebie onto Baka. That's a C4 gone, as well as a load of presence, as Derp is going to have to give it up and just go back to site. Minute 30 left. Not all the time in the world to work with here, but still plenty in order to get the hatches open that they need to. Still got a Reshkigal alive as well. And there's a lot that can happen here. Davenport seeming like they're going to go for the exact same push that they have been all this time. A kitchen hatch main stairs take with maybe a player lurking inside of dirt. There's that question of how are they going to clear out the site. Last time around, they were able to clear everything around the site. They were able to get rid of the players sitting inside and outside of the site, but they weren't able to get rid of the actual people sitting inside of the site. The player black box last time around, when that Aruni was sitting behind and just waiting for the team to push in. Anomaly sitting on AK racks with smokes everywhere. It's going to be a lot of pressure here for Davenport with 54 seconds left. Let's see how they're going to clear this one out.
Well, Nazaru will be looking to enter through Dirt Tunnel yet again. We saw how valuable this play was for the team last time, but now they're going to have to deal with Anomaly first. Last time, Nazaru pushed in so late in the round, there was no dirt, contestation from Kettering to worry about, but with that smoke in play, Nazaru will not be able to push in there all by himself. He'll need support from a teammate. He'll need some utility. I don't know if those 2 nades in pocket are going to be enough if that shield is supported by Amplify's ADSs, but Davenport with 20 seconds left, they can no longer be indecisive. They've got to get aggressive and push the site. You've got a Reshkigal looking to pop in from above. Derp will get dropped down by Spanny, but Papa P on the trade. Here comes the Hibana, smartly going a dark spot this time. Julian on the coverage gets one. Nazaru, pistol in hand, gets another. It is all up to Amplify, and he has to swing the angle, and 3 players are looking right at him. Davenport keeping it clean, miles better than their attack last time. Efficient, decisive in the end, and successful as they now move ahead to yet another match point.
So many refrags as well on the side of Davenport. Well, whenever it came to necessity, they got the refrags, and like you said, just clean, swift. They got it done in such little time. You blinked and that attack was already over. Davenport was inside of the site. They had their pressure from their hatches, from their holes above, from dirt. It was just everywhere. That is how you pull off a kitchen dirt attack. That was just beautiful from them. And now Kettering are going to have their hands forced. They're going to have their hands tied. They're going over to attack now on their map. This is not where you want to be here. If that rule rings true as much as Newton's law does, if Davenport are able to take Kettering's map, much like it does happen in Collegiate, we'll be going over the cafe, and well, that's where things can get really, really interesting here. But Kettering, they still have a lot to work with here. Their attacks, they've been clean, but not on Clubhouse. Clubhouse has been very sloppy for them on that attacking side, if you remember. But we'll just have to see what happens now as Kettering. They were on the back foot as soon as Davenport started this map out. They had an explosive defense, though. Now it all comes down to this.
Church and Arsenal, though, a tough one for them to attack. We talked about where they found attacking success. Kettering, where they found attacking success in the past, it has only been on CCTV and Cache, the one bomb site where they have been consistent in that success. I suppose not fully consistent. They did lose one attacking round there, but twice they attacked Church and Arsenal, and neither time were they able to secure the round. They're hoping to break that pattern and send things to round 15, but they're going to have to do so in a disciplined manner. We've seen them slip away in moments like this. We've seen them kind of forget to play as a team and play too much as individuals, and that is where Kettering can get themselves into a bit of trouble. But early on, they are going to stay disciplined. Some drone work, identifying that there might be a roamer up above. Not exactly sure if Anomaly spotted out that it was in fact Spandy on the Oryx, because that is an entirely other threat you're gonna have to deal with, and Spandy with a fantastic shot onto Durpin, now making a quick escape, and Kettering have no answer for it. Nobody working their way in from the other side. A pre-fire wallbang attempt from Bucka will not land, so Spandy is able to get out completely safe, and now he'll be hunting for more.
As much as Oryx can be very, very just all around not super useful, there's one thing about him that really stands true, and that is the fact that he can just run around like a maniac. He can change his positioning so often and pressure so many things here, and that's Papa P going down as well. Spandy's looking for 20 now as he claims the Maverick here. 18 kills to his name, and he's gonna get wallbanged there from Bucka. Beautiful shots from him, but look at the damage that has already been done. Both of your nades are gone. That is unbelievably important there. Really well played from Spandy. That's going to force Kettering's hand here. They're going to have to get extremely aggressive on this attack now. They're going to have to get moving. They have no time. They have no utility to work with. They've got a minute left. Their nades are gone, and this is just... It's such a well-played round there from Spandy. We'll have to see how Kettering can adapt to this. It seems like they are just going to be going for the exact same thing that Davenport did with a stairs take. Looks like a main stairs take.
One saving grace for Kettering is if there's anyone you still want alive, it's your hard breach and it's your soft destruction. They've got both of that. Both of their hard breachers and the Buck. Anyone you could want to apply pressure from above, getting those hatches open and opening up other avenues of the site. You've got that ability now. Can't deal with the mute jammers, though, and you're going to have a hard time dealing with a Reshkigel, who's just sitting on that church double reinforced wall and swinging out like an absolute madman. It looks like Julian's going to line up another prone in church, and there he goes for a double kill, and Davenport, after a troubling 7-0 loss in map 1, they will come back on map 2, taking a hard-fought 8-6 victory to send us to our decider.
Unbelievable there from Davenport. We saw 7-0 on Bank, and they were able to recover that. Kettering go down here. Wow, what a map there from Davenport. Really well played to them. They played to their strengths. They got, a little bit teamwork and cohesion back from what we saw on Bank. They kind of started to finally understand their play style. They dealt with a lot of Kettering's utility, and obviously they made some heroic plays. We saw Spandy with 18 kills. That is unbelievable. Give this man a scholarship or something for that. That is ridiculous, but really well played there to Spandy and the rest of Davenport. They secure that out, and rightfully so. 8-6. We go on to Cafe, though. It's a mix of Bank and Clubhouse sometimes. It can go either way. If you don't get rid of your roam clearance, it can be really, really difficult. So I'm interested to see what will happen.
Yeah, 3 players actually on Davenport going into double digits. Of course, Spandy, 6 kills clear of his nearest teammate at 18, but an impressive performance all around. Kettering, when they had that success, they were all fragging out, relatively contributing equally across the board, and that was good to see, but they just could not chain more rounds together. The 3-round comeback was all they could really muster. We'll take a look at Cafe next and see if they can continue that comeback streak, if Davenport can further that momentum. We'll take a look at our third map in a quick moment, but we're going to have to take a quick break before we get there. Stick around. We'll be right back. Quite a turn of events, Adam. We saw map one that was just a disaster all around. I mean, no one wants to see a trouncing of that caliber, but then map two, that was quite a change. Davenport looked like a completely different team. The team that is undefeated in the East Conference right now, the team that got them here today. But now we head to map three, and both teams, they want to remain undefeated. This is their chance to do it.
Yep, right here, right now. Davenport versus Kettering, the Michigan Brawl. And it's been very close on that clubhouse, but we have to be careful of Cafe. I kind of mentioned it before the game ended. Sorry, before we went to break, that, you know, Cafe, it can be a mix of bank and clubhouse both. So you have a lot of roam clearing that you might need to do depending on what attack that you go for. And you also have a lot of utility clearing that you're going to need to worry about. But there's one thing that both those maps have in common. It's that it can go on either side. Historically, this map, it's decently defender-sided, but let's just see what will happen, because considering the fact that, you know, you just have a lot of utility clearing to do, and the fact that Kettering are on the defense, Kettering plus utility, you know, I'm kind of worried about that for Davenport.
Well, we could take a look at what kind of cafe we are in for. The operator bands getting underway and the Thatcher taking off the board is no surprise. Now, the Jackal ban is a little bit more unusual on a map like Cafe because the Flores, those Rotero drones, is generally something that we see teams hoping to take off the board, but Davenport electing to maybe alleviate the pressure that their roamers will feel from the Jackal, maybe wanting to play more extensions, more aggressive individual roam. So removing that Inox scanner could help in that endeavor. On the defensive side, the Valkyrie and the Mira tend to be the most common bans here. Sometimes we'll see a Wamai thrown in the mix. The Mira and those black mirrors will be removed first, and that is no surprise. She is strong everywhere, and those black eye cameras from the Valkyrie, just the same thing. Not only inside can those cameras be so powerful, but on a map like Cafe, so many repelled players, so many windows and doors to jump out of as well. Those cameras outside can be quite a nuisance for attacking teams, so neither team will have to deal with the Valkyrie presence. Davenport, they'll be starting out on the attack, and Kettering, the defense, to kick off our decider map.
Now, usually what Davenport tend to do in terms of the intel is bring Camfrog on the 0. We've been seeing this basically every single map. Very powerful gun, that the SCK or something. I forget what it is. It's like the F2000, but regardless, I'll bring a Flores instead. And I think this is good from Davenport, especially considering just how much utility Kettering tend to bring. A lot of shields that you're going to have to get rid of, and a Flores can be the perfect mix in order to get rid of that. But Kettering opting to go what I believe, let me see, it's a downstairs defense. So yeah, that Flores is definitely going to be a massive factor here. It can be a really good gateway to get around burning the utility from the Wamai and the Jaeger. It can be really good to force players out of bake and just blow up the ADSs as well. So really powerful operator here. I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of presence from him, as well as obviously the nades that we've been seeing. 6 sets of nades here. Or sorry, 3 sets of nades here on the side of Davenport as well.
Now, in terms of shield play, those things that the Rotero drones most often land on and hope to find their target, there's only one shield on the side of Kettering, just in the hands of Amplify the Echo. Another interesting operator when you don't have the Valkyrie and you don't have that intel, and maybe you don't want to bring a smoke, but you still want some kind of plant denial. Those Yokai drones, they're just a perfect solution for all of your troubles. Not only can you roam them around the map and get some intel for your team, maybe assist that player, pop a P on that bakery extension, but when it comes to that plant, when Davenport are hoping to get that diffuser on the ground, those Yokai drones can deny it in the perfect moment. But we're quite a long way from an eventual execute, because Davenport, they don't seem to be going direct. Everyone has worked their way up to the roof, and they appear to be going for a top-down approach. There are a couple of roamers to deal with. You've got Bucka, who's now retreated over towards the brown stairs, but still focused on whatever this top floor has in store. And same thing goes for Derp, positioned currently over in dining or fireplace hall, whatever you want to call it, hoping to prove that, you know, some second floor hold can delay a good bit of time.
And we do recall to both both clubhouse and bank. The roam was probably the main thing that won Kettering a lot of their defenses, and that might be why you got a man named Derp on the side of Kettering University. He hits a shot all the way from the Grand Rapids over to the Michigan Lake. Is that a thing? I hope that is. I actually don't know my geography very well, but It's a beautiful shot there from Derp, and he's gonna fall off as well, so that's really strong from him. And as a matter of fact, it's both Ereshkigal and Nazarud to go down as well. The round has been sealed in favor of Kettering at the moment. A 2 versus 5 diffuser completely in the hands of Kettering as well. It's a recipe for disaster, Jonah, as we move in to map number 3. Not what you want to see from Davenport, especially considering we've seen them lose before. Last time they did it, it was a 7-0. It's going to be a trade between Buck and Spandy. It's just Spandy in a 1 versus 4. Little to no HP to work with here. Now is the time for Spandy and the rest of Davenport University to understand what they want to do for the next round, as an impact from below will seal the fate of the round.
Yeah, that was a decisive round there from Kettering. I think 4 bodies up in the end. And a nice little impact, nice little Pokeball to finish off the round. An explosion from below. They had the intel from all of those yokai drones that I was highlighting. One of those drones made its way to that second floor to support the roam. It wasn't just sitting in bakery. It wasn't just, you know, sitting stalwart on the site hoping to deny the plant. Kettering making an active use of that utility as much as they could, in addition to how active that roam turned out to be. And it worked out beautifully for them. So opening things up with a victory on that kitchen site. As you said, Adam, it comes down to the roam. A lot of the time for Kettering, that's how they were so successful on Bank. Those defensive victories they were able to secure on Clubhouse, it often came down to the success of an extension, and often, sometimes, to the success of one man. Dirk just going absolutely nuclear in a couple of different positions, getting a couple of kills, but more importantly than that, wasting a ton of time. Now, Derp was able to do that in the last round, getting that opening frag, wasting that time, allowing the rest of that Kettering defense to play a little bit more freely, a little bit looser on the site, more comfortable, more confident, and we saw how that confidence benefited them on Bank. We saw how it benefited them here on round 1 as well. So a successful kitchen site, so they'll move up to the top floor.
On the top floor, it's a very standard setup at the moment. They've got the holes inside of the freezer wall as well. Seems like they're going to be kind of shifting over towards that white bathroom side. That's kind of how they want to play this. They're going to be holding piano from outside instead of in the pixel spot. No shield present there. And I'm also wondering what's going to happen in terms of that roam. Obviously, you can't really... I don't think you get away with roams a lot of the time on this downstairs site unless you have... Or sorry, on this upstairs site unless you have C4s to play with. Otherwise, it's kind of just a waste of time. Because most of the time, Davenport is just going to be spending their time, or usually the attack's just going to be spending their time dealing with all the utility inside the piano. Now, you do have Derp below, and obviously Derp is the greatest roamer of all time. He's also got a C4 in his back pocket. So, depending on how they play this, their C4s, they've looked mighty successful so far. So I'm interested to see if Derp is going to be, you know, using that to an aggressive, to an extent to where he can be aggressive with it. I'm also wondering what he's going to just do with his weapon, because he has just been the most cold-blooded killer I've ever seen on a roam in the history of ever.
In the history of ever. I like that. We'll have to see exactly right, like you said, what he can make happen here. In terms of this pixel position, Papa P has now almost been pressured out. The Vulcan shield will detonate, but he will not leave. A dangerous prospect, because here comes a nade on the follow-up. It's not going to make it all the way through, though, and Papa P is able to get out unscathed. He'll move to bathroom, another position that has several ADSs and another deployable shield, so still a lot of utility for Kettering to rely on this hold of the piano side. Davenport working their way in, picking up the opening kill onto Bucka. That's a good start, but they still need to find another. Spandy has been lit up heavily in the process. Julian, I think, landing a bullet or 2 onto the shoulder of Amplify, who also needs to be careful about not overexposing himself, because everyone from Kettering seems to be taking damage from here, from there, from, I mean, just about everywhere. That Davenport are now working their way into this map. Papa P knows that he's got to get a little bit of ground back, but he's careful, though, because, again, more nades are working their way towards him.
This is very aggressive and very quick from Davenport, and I like to see the amount of control that they're getting, but at the same time, Kettering just have so many contingency plans to work with. They've got the shield sitting inside a bathroom. They've got Papa P playing near that pixel, well, what used to be a shield, but playing near that pixel position. Everything that they have that's gone in terms of that pixel shield, they have a plan for it. You can see Papa P's got a white shield, and that's going to be Julian going down as well. Amplify, an ill-advised swing as Ereshkigal takes him down, and Spandy goes down as well. 3 versus 2. Papa P and Anomaly alive. Very importantly is Anomaly alive. 25 seconds, though, and he's got no gas grenades. So this plant should be able to go down. But with Papa P playing in such an aggressive position over by white, this could be something they can use to deny the plant here. However, he's fallen off. Anomaly, he's gonna get killed by a player all the way over in B2, and Reshkigal is gonna make his way over to Pallets as well to claim the kill onto Papa P. It's gonna be around there from Davenport. No slowing down from them. Constantly on the move and constantly applying pressure. Very, very well fought back from them. It's gonna be all tied up now.
Now, we were focusing a lot on Papa P there, in a very important position, of course, and so it makes sense why we were focusing on him in Pixel, in Bathroom, eventually over by Pallets, in that Whitehall position, and Davenport were also hoping to force him out, but that's not where the problems for Kettering came in. That's not where Davenport found success. They found success by killing every other player, while Papa P was slowly forced to back on off. It wasn't the cleanest push of that Wamai, and they did not deal with Pixel very efficiently at all. But what they did do is apply enough pressure to the rest of the site that every Kettering defender who popped their cheeky head up behind a barricade, behind a reinforcement, trying to get something going for their team, they took all of them down. I'm not sure if it was the case of Kettering being too aggressive, or if it was Davenport just finding some angles from below and surprising Kettering. It really felt more like the former, because utility-wise, Kettering played that well. They were wasting a ton of time. Papa P was able to persist so long in that corner of the map that is generally the most important position for the defense to hold. That's why it's so surprising why every single defender died while that was happening. So Kettering losing that round on the top floor in just not the cleanest fashion. Maybe that's not the site for them. Maybe they want to go to another site that relies a bit more on that roam and on that defensive presence. Smartly so, Adam, you had said that the top floor site, it's not easy to get a successful roam on, and that may be why Kettering couldn't win the round.
You know, that's might be why they, that might also be why they're switching up to reading and dining. Like you mentioned, just a site that helps with that roaming playstyle. It just allows Kettering to be a little bit more fluent and flexible with their movement. They're allowed to move around a little bit, juggle positions, and just get aggressive. And that's kind of what we've been seeing most of the success from Kettering coming from. Is just, it's not the inability of Davenport to clear. It's just Kettering have just been super duper effective whenever it comes to just holding offsite positions. And you can see that's exactly what they're doing. That's what you usually do on this upstairs hold. I'm also interested to see what this shield inside of Heaven is going to do. Not a very common one, but it's a good way to contest New Balk. All around, pretty interesting utility placements here. Derp is going to be, or sorry, Papa K rather, is going to be relying on that castle barricade over by Long Bar into Cocktail like it's his life. That is the most important castle barricade ever for him. This is going to be a really interesting crossfire between Bucka and Papa P. There is one thing, though, that Davenport can work with, and that is getting themselves inside a bathroom and just isolating Bucka before Papa P can really do anything. But it seems like they're going to take the aggressive approach. They're going to try and nade that shield over by Heaven. However, it is Papa P, so he's got Wamais all over the place. The long bar control is definitely there for Davenport, but now it's how the heck are they going to crack open into Cocktail? What a shot there, though, from Spandies. He takes down Amplify for the opening kill.
Yeah, good start from Spandy, but like you said, still a lot of this top floor to clear out. Bucka and Papa P still comfortably over in Cocktail, maybe less comfortably now that the pressure is mounting. The flashes and the nades have worked their way towards this position, and now that the castle barricade on the Cocktail double door is open, looks like Kettering is going to have to start to frag out. Papa P is, at least as he is sitting carefully close behind one of these Cocktail bars. Oreshkigal will be the first one to step up, looking towards Bucka, but won't spot him out. Papa P doesn't move. Bucka's the one who steps up and deals with the Ash. Now it's Derp who tries to come back into the action, and he will apply pressure, freezing the player down the white hall, which allows Papa P to step up at the proper moment. He'll collect a kill. Now we're back in a 3v3 as Nazaru takes care of Bucka. Finally, Papa P has been dealt with, and now the remaining 3 attackers against these final 2 Kettering defenders have 25 seconds to get this execute going. Derp looking up above will nearly catch out Nazaru, but can't quite finish off the kill. And Spandy will still be looking to apply pressure from above, but they are out of time. They have got to get moving. Spandy will drop down, and here comes the push from Laundry. Anomaly will get one. Derp going for a bit of a flank here, and this could be what they need, but now he's cut off and isolated. Camfrog taking care of Anomaly. Now he's got to recover the diffuser, but 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Derp sees him and takes him down. The timing. Davenport lost control of the clock. They lost their composure in the round, and it cost them dearly. immediately.
That is unbelievable. The diffuser was dropped by White and no one bothered to go get it because there's no time. Oh man, why was it? I'm really confused. That was a rough round. I really there's a lot to go over there. There's a lot to go over there because Kettering had control of library, and I feel like Davenport would know that, considering the way that Derp swung the person on the vert holes. At that point, you just have to expect that the rest of the defenders are either in or near reading. So then they decided to push the diffuser over by White. They definitely had something going there whenever they had the upstairs control and they had that sort of position inside of pillars to push for that default plant. But then they just bum rushed the person in the back of the site and unfortunately took a gunfight that they just didn't need to. The case was all the way over, away from what control Davenport had. They expected the laundry drop to work out, and unfortunately, it just did not. That was so close there, and it really was all over the place there. Davenport, on the opening half of that round, you know, on the first half, they had a lot of gunfights going their way, and that's really what won them that upstairs control, was that they were just able to win their gunfights. They used their utility pretty well. They didn't even clear a lot of the shields, to be honest. It was just kind of them getting aggressive and winning their gunfights, but then they just couldn't get their execute rolling. It was so rough. The time was ticking, and unfortunately the time has just been such a factor here for both of these teams. But this time, considering that Kettering are on the defense, it'll benefit them.
But this back and forth, Davenport are looking to continue this pattern that they are establishing here on Cafe. They'll lose a round, they'll take a round, and now it comes down to possibly taking this round again now that Kettering has found success. We are heading, though, back down to challenging territory for Davenport. Opening round is where we first saw Kitchen from Kettering, and Davenport were not able to secure it. This time, they'll be hoping to remedy that maybe by moving through this map a little bit more efficiently. Spandy is already in, and Bucka, good timing on that rotation. Just a second later, and he would have been spotted out. He'll get some support now from Derp, and actually some support from this Echo drone, which has worked its way all the way to the top floor. Amplify providing as much support to these roamers as he can, and he'll try to keep that drone alive, work its way back towards the site, just to keep that utility in the hands of the defense as long as they can.
Kettering's roam, obviously probably the stronger out of the two teams, and like you said, the timing is just excellent. They aren't going to expel any lives if they can't get a reward in return. You see Julian is going to drone out Bucka here. He's got a lot of angles working against him here. If I'm Bucka, I want to rotate out or into a safer position as soon as possible. Derp is going to join him on White, though. That's a huge kill there from Derp, and a really well-timed rotate, and Bucka's now just able to hold his own thanks to that peek there from Derp, and thanks to that pressure. Now Spandy's all on his own to try and clear out this Jaeger. This is not the position that you want to be in if you're Davenport. You don't want to force yourself into a position where you're solo clearing players, but as I say that, the assistance there from the Hibana of Nazaru is going to help clear out Bucka, but the damage has already been done. You've lost a set of nades here. The top floor is established with a minute left. To be honest, there's not a lot of pressure that Spandy's going to have to apply. There's not a lot of time that he's going to have to sledge open the floor. He's going to have to move quickly here. It's 50 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Spandy looking for some angles, hoping to get a kill back because they are on the back foot right now in terms of that man advantage. Utility, they've still got a good bit. They've got 5 drones in pocket, so they can still make something happen given that they do have 30 seconds. Maybe you can use 5-10 of those to just drone out the site and figure out what you're dealing with down below, but you've got to be careful because those yokai drones from Amplify, there's probably still one lurking around. You still got to deal with VIP presence. That's actually Amplify himself, so he's not playing for those drones. He's just playing for these frags right now. He's playing for the time waste, and it pays off. He picks up a kill before he's traded back. Spandy will get 2 kills in return, and now he'll be pushing his way through the site. Actually, it's a Reshkigel who gets taken down by Anomaly. He'll now spot out the head of the sledge and finish him off just in the nick of time. Davenport nearly making a comeback in that round, but ever since that troubling start, losing 2 players on the entry, Derp and Bucka finding back-to-back kills for Kettering, Davenport just could not fully recover, and they'll lose the round.
And obviously, it's a hard comeback, like you said, losing 2 of your players oh so early, and that refrag was just so late as well. It took so much time to get rid of those players, and Well, it didn't even allow you enough time to get rid of VIP player, or sorry, the VIP player. It was just, it was a rough all around timing there from Davenport. They didn't have the time that they needed to get rid of all the utility downstairs, and it just bit them back. It really did. And the amount of times that they've also lost control of the diffuser has been too many to count at the moment. Way too aggressive with that case. They've got to protect him. And, well, as you can see, it's a punishing moment whenever you just can't clear out this Kettering room. That has just been so daunting on the side of Davenport. 3-1 now. Kettering leading by example on this defense. You're going to be going back upstairs. The site was definitely a bit iffy. It wasn't a site that they were able to clinch out immediately. But they've got the right idea, I think. As long as they can just keep delaying over by that piano position and just not allowing Davenport to get too comfortable, should be a recipe for success.
Well, they'll be bringing out a similar focus on this top floor in terms of utility, but not identical. They will do away with the Wamai entirely. They're going to actually bring out fewer deployable shields. They're not going to bring the Goyo and his Vulcan shields. They're just going to bring Bucka's singular shield as he is rocking the smoke. So instead of seeing a pixel focus, it looks like a bit of a cocktail, cigar focus, excuse me. But that's actually going to be made a lot more difficult now that you've already lost your castle. I hope that Derp was able to get those barricades down before he spawn peeked, and it looked like he did. We can see that Cigar has been secured as it tends to be, with a barricade on the double door supported by that Surya gate and several ADSs and that deployable shield. But you're no longer going to have Derp, one of these big fraggers for Kettering, any longer in round 5.
And Derp has kind of been the contingency, you know, he's been the main thing that I feel like has been winning rounds here for Kettering, to be honest. And now seeing him down, seeing his kind of aggressive playstyle completely gone away, not a good start here. Bucka has now forced his hand. He's lost his deployable shield, and he's just going to have to play aggressively here because I believe he's castled off from behind. So he's just kind of stuck where he is. He's going to have to use his utility till death and use his shotgun until his time runs out. He's using it effectively so far. He's wasted a lot of time, a lot more time than you should be wasting on a piano take, and he's got a shotgun in hand as well, so any close range gunfights you can hope for are going to be completely over. Here comes a swing here from Nazru, but he is completely gone. Another swing from Bucka as he claims his second, and the case is down as well. 3 versus 4, and Kettering are off to an amazing start. They've refragged Derp and more. Really rough start here from Davenport. Bucka still alive, but he'll finally be taken down. But Jonah, the cost is just way too big.
Yeah, Bucka got a little bit greedy at the end. There's no question about that, but doing his job perfectly. That's the beauty of a cigar hold. You've got that shotgun. In almost every position, you could drop down the red stairs as you push in. A shotgun is going to win out in that range every single time, and not enough utility. Davenport didn't put enough utility down ahead of those swings to prevent that shotgun for doing them as brutally as it did. We are in an even 3v3 though, and 30 seconds is still some time to work with for Davenport. If they can just get a couple of these frags, if Amplify gets spotted out here by Julian, this could be a very different story, but Julian is not quite looking the right way in time. Have to take this fight down the White Hall, looking towards White Stairs, but can't quite spot out the head. Spandy pushes in to go for this plant. Camfrog goes for the distract play all the way through to Cocktail. He'll die, but picks off a kill while he does it. That allows the diffuser to go down. Now Julian on the coverage. A post plant now for Davenport. Pop P from the freezer. A bit of a surprise from behind, but Spandy whips around just in the nick of time to finish things off. Kettering letting things slip in the end, but Davenport, unlike what we've seen in previous rounds, they stay composed. They stay disciplined, even with 15 seconds left in an uncomfortable 2v2 scenario. They make a proper play, they focus on the objective, and they win the round because of it.
There hasn't been a lot of times where Kettering will make a mistake and Davenport will catch up on it, but that last round was exactly that. It was Davenport realizing that Kettering, well, they have an opening inside a long bar, and it just allowed for Davenport to apply pressure, punch a hole in the defense of Kettering and just get themselves inside. It was very sloppy, and I'll be honest, Davenport had zero business winning that round. With the amount of time that they had, yes, they were only one room away from getting themselves inside of the site, but the positioning that Kettering had should have worked out. But unfortunately, Kettering just weren't playing their crossfires. They were just holding back, just waiting for Davenport to go inside. But once they did, Davenport were just swinging absolutely everything and winning their gunfights. And unfortunately for them, unfortunately for Kettering, they weren't able to catch up on that as early as they should have. It's going to be 3-2. This upstairs site's been it's been back and forth here between both Davenport and Kettering, but Davenport have certainly proven themselves. I think both of their attacks so far have been, both of their attack victories have been on this site exactly. The 3-3 split is looking to be on the horizon here from Davenport, and honestly, if they can get it, a huge changing point here in this game. We've seen the 7-0. We all remember it from Kettering. But was that just a fluke?
Yeah, both times we've seen this site from Kettering, Davenport have won it, and that is why it is, frankly, surprising, albeit shocking, to see this site chosen from Kettering when they could very well go to Reading. A site that they won, a site that relies on what Kettering love to do and they do so well, extensions and roams. Reading is perfect for that. They won it last time, yet they chose to go to Bar and Cocktail for a third time. And maybe whatever strategy they were cooking up, I don't think we're going to get to see that fully realized. They've already lost a body, and that is Papa P. That is the person on Pixel, supported by these Vulcan shields. The one that is the crux of this round, and he's already dead. Are you kidding me? That is a very troublesome start for Kettering on a troublesome bomb site with only 1 minute burn. Kettering have now lost the ability to add any more Wamai magnets into play. They lose the ability to what I thought was play that position over in Pixel successfully, but at least they will answer with a couple of frags, taking down both Ereshkigal and Spandy, losing Derp in the process, but now we're back even, so at least Kettering have recovered it somewhat.
Bit of a weird start here for both sides, but it seems like everything has settled down, and at the end of the day, Kettering have fully rotated back upstairs. They're going to just be playing their utility from... Well, actually, there's a... No, that's Bucko. I thought Bucko was underneath. That was really weird, but... With all three players upstairs now, a swing from Amplify, but why at the same time? Kettering just getting overly aggressive when they just don't have the room to do so. Davenport now going to have themselves inside a piano. That control is going to be completely forfeit. But another, what is going on? Nazru is going to walk into Fusers now down the middle of Long Bar, and Bucka's on for 3. A huge play from him. Bucka is just taking this round into his own hands. It's a 2 versus 1. Camfrog, can he do it here? 2-3. What was looking like a Davenport equalizer here, what was looking like Davenport getting themselves into piano and having that control has completely turned around. Their fortunes have become misfortunes, and Bucka's on for 4, and he hasn't even moved. That man has been playing that position since the beginning, and he'll take that round.
That was probably the most confusing round we've seen so far, barring a couple of confusing rounds we saw on Bank and maybe some weird decisions by Davenport. That one was marred by strange decisions from both teams, and honestly a surprise outcome given the way things started. Kettering going to the top floor, losing their Wamai, going for a couple of runouts and ending up going even and returning it to a 3v3, but Bucka just looks in his back pocket, pulls out the miracle, and is like, you know what? I'm the captain of this team. I will put them on my shoulders, and I will get us to a successful defensive half. And successful it is, 4-2 for Kettering, a great place to be. Of course, it's not that dominant. It is a 4-2 defensive half, which is something we get to say almost all the time on a lot of these maps, but Cafe is one of those maps that I feel like goes up an even 3-3 split to the attackers and the defenders just as often as we see it go slightly defensive-sided. So Davenport, no doubt, they'll be slightly on the back foot here, but they will be on the more comfortable defensive side. Both teams have agreed that defense is where they want to begin. So I suppose Davenport, their saving grace could be in the form of another nice comeback, much like we saw from Kettering in the last map. All Davenport have to do here is keep their composure on the defensive side, and I already like Adam. I already like what we're seeing in terms of the site selection, going straight to Reading and Fireplace, focusing on that top floor hold. this it at least gives me some confidence in this hold to start.
Yeah, and what we've seen from Davenport a lot is that whenever they want to, keep control of something, they'll waste a lot of time, right? Like they will hold forever, and that is problematic if you are Kettering, because Kettering, they've been pretty solid whenever it comes to clearing out initially. They usually have a lot of time to work with, but Davenport can make a play that can really throw you off, and that can become a game changer here. And what I'm interested to see is there's a player sitting all the way downstairs in the basement. That one player, that one solo play, that can be a game changer right there. A flank upstairs while a plant is trying to go down there from Camfrog. If he times this properly, you have a huge, huge play on your hands. But at the moment, Kettering just getting themselves situated upstairs. They're obviously going to be able to make it over to Cocktail. But what I am very nervous about is that they only have they have 4 sets of nades, which it sounds like 2 sets of nades. It sounds like a lot, but considering the fact that we're in this day and age and this meta, you have a Jaeger and you have multiple shield. Well, you have a very important shield to clear. It's gonna be a lot of trust on those nades. And what the absolute heck was that from Derp? He's gonna try and go for a second. Camfrog, a player that we were looking at to be a game changer, has already gone down. Derp will be able to res himself off of that C4, and that is the power of Finka right there. 1:30, and Kettering have already gotten 3 members down, as well as Cocktail control completely in their hands. They're going to be able to flush out Nazri here. Absolutely no trouble. Spandy's going to join him, though. See if he can claim a couple of refrags here, but he's going to give up as well. Nazri is stuck in a rock and a hard place. He'll claim one, though. It's Fucka's HP down to minimal as well. The swing from Pallets. Oh, Spandy's won that! 2 versus 3. Spandy comes up at the exact right moment. Kettering, they're throwing this one away. They had to be careful.
Oh, Amplify spotting out Spandy there, so redeeming what could have been a disastrous turn of events there for Kettering. Now it is a 3v1. We've seen them lose situations like this before. Now all they've got to do is turn a little bit objective focused or just slip a nade into this corner. They're out of nades, but they can just do it with bullets. Nazaru is now only on 1 HP. They have to force him out in order to recover this diffuser, actually, because it is in Nazaru's line of sight. But he is just sitting in this corner, trapped, and all he can do is wait for the bullets to find his chest. And so Amplify will swing up the white stairs and shut him down quickly. Kettering moving ahead very swiftly, taking the opening attacking round. Adam, you highlighted how important those nades would be. Little did we know that Kettering would just push themselves into a couple of those angles, just take those gunfights and win them. A nice double kill to open up the round from Derp. The awareness that somebody would be swinging him downstairs from those brown stairs, trying to sneak up from behind. Really good game sense from the Finka, resing himself as well, letting his team just continue that pressure on the top floor. And I think at one point that was a 5v2 for Kettering, and they did have their issues, but they never looked back. So great place for them to be. And yeah, that's a 3-round lead now for them.
I mean, yeah, besides, like you said, that, little fluke that we had at the end there with the Smoke staying alive way longer than he should have, that was a really solid round there from Kettering. They got extremely aggressive extremely early, and that's kind of what we've been seeing from them. A difference between a lot of good and great teams is that a great team will just establish themselves early on. They'll get themselves in, they'll cut out all the fat in the meat and just get inside. And then from there, they focus on their attack. They focus on what the defense might have control of, and they just make do at that point. And obviously, it certainly didn't help Davenport that 2 kills went in the way of Derp that early on. That was a game changer right there. That was a round winner. And honestly, at that point, the pressure just started to mount, and, well, Kettering just managed to snowball that attack into their favor. So, we're going to be switching up sites. It's going to be a top floor hold this time around. Pretty typical stuff. Very interesting is what we're seeing is a freezer shield, assisted by Aruni Gates. So let's just see how that one is going to work out as well. A lot of reliance on crossfires with this strategy, though. If Davenport's teamwork isn't up to scuff, could be rough. Ooh, that was nice. I don't even know if that was the right thing to say, but that was nice. I like that.
I believe up to snuff is what you were looking for, though.
There it is.
There it is. Yes. But it was quite nice. Papa P, he will begin what Sledge mains do best. He'll open up the hatches and he'll work their way in from the top floor. Amplify will send this Twitch drone in, hoping to deal with a bit of utility on this pixel position, and successfully, I think, spotting out something. May have been a Wamag magnet there that Nazaru had placed on the ground, but not the optimal use of the Twitch drone. Definitely looking to get a couple more off the board if possible. So he'll send another drone in while the rest of his team is focused on actually getting their boots on the ground, getting those players in the building rather than simply their drones. They'd like to push into Piano. They'd like to have that opportunity to get some utility sent down range because they know that with all this focus on Piano from both teams, it's going to be a position they've got to clear out quickly. The nade from behind was simply just a little bit off the mark. I think that was Derp trying to, it was Papa P on the window rappel trying to surprise that Pixel player from behind. Finally, we're going to see the flash jump come in. Derp will get blinded himself, but blinding also Camfrog in the process, blowing up the Vulcan shield and taking Camfrog down to the grave.
Quite literally fried. That was a good amount of utility usage there. Camfrog is dead, and so is that pixel shield. That's a lot of control going in your way, especially at the fact that Davenport, they're relying a lot on this freezer hold. So to lose pixel and to open up that avenue inside a bathroom, really good stuff there. Papa P will claim a frag onto Julian. That is unfortunate there on that white rappel, just playing windows with 50 seconds left as well. Davenport, pressure is on for them as well. You also have to be careful if you are Nazaru because he is stuck inside a freezer at this point. There's nowhere that he can go, and he's going to have to be a powerful player in this position. We'll have to see what happens. He does take down Anomaly as I say that. 3-3. Case is going to have to be recovered here, and with 30 seconds left, Nazaru is the lone man locking down this Piano area.
He's got Diffuser in his sights, and Kettering will now have to recover this with only 20 seconds left. They are now the ones in a very dangerous position. Bucka is on the wrong side of the map. The Diffuser out of pocket. I think finally recovered here by Amplify, and now he'll actually be trying to stick this plant, but where's the support? Nowhere. Ereshkigal will line up 2 kills, and a C4 kill will come raining through at the same time. Bucka just hoping to drop down the skylight and play for the miracle, but it was not allowed to happen, at least for the second time. One miracle is enough for Bucka on Cafe. Davenport will make sure that is the case because they will work their way slowly back into the fight. Only 2 rounds now, the deficit that they hold.
Yeah, you said it pretty well. Bucka was just across the map. The time management was not very well placed. And he just didn't need to be on cocktail windows. It wasn't a cocktail take. No one was over by white. They had to focus on that plant. And unfortunately, Bucka was just unable to do so. And it all fell apart from there. Davenport will take a very important round. Now, Kettering still in the lead, obviously. But last time around, what we saw was whenever Davenport had that lead, it got stolen away from them. So they had to be very careful with how they play this. It is going to be yet another dining and reading hold. Now, last time what happened was Kettering just kind of punished Davenport for swinging super aggressively. I've been commenting on this a lot, and it rings true at the moment. Davenport just swing a lot. Now, on some sites it works out, but on a hold like Cocktail, when you're just supposed to allow for the utility to be burnt and just waste as much time as possible, those swings are usually pretty ill-advised. And, well, it granted granted Kettering rather 2 kills last time around. Very, very punishing and basically gave them the round. Let's see how they'll handle this one differently.
Davenport will be hoping to, I suppose, hold this top floor control a little bit longer. That slipped out of their grasp much sooner than I know we were expecting. I'm sure much earlier than they were expecting. And so they'll be hoping that maybe the ADSs, the Aruni Gates, can deal with some of these nades, deal with some of these players before they can really make, such an impact. Bucka will open up this castle barricade and look to pressure here from behind, trying to establish an angle onto the one player that is eager enough to swing him, but he'll actually just be holding some vertical holes for now. Nazaru, he finds himself trapped in the same corner he was last time. It is still early enough, though. He should be able to get out of here, and now he'll reposition into Cocktail. Smartly so. He does not want to get trapped in that corner once again. But Kettering are looking to make a similar impact. They're trying to work this top floor pressure in. You've got Papa P sledging open these windows. Bucka as well, pressuring on the rappel. You've got Derp, who's now worked his way into Cigar itself. And Bucka actually finding the scoreboard. And there it is, your smoke player dead early. The opening frag onto your utility-focused plant denial operator. A troubling start for Davenport again.
The nade is going to be popped there from Papa P, but it's a double run out, and Baka's just going to mow them down. What was that? What was the need for that? That was so unnecessary. They knew that 2 players were on those windows. That was just so unnecessary. We talked about how Davenport just have to hold their positions and just allow for the time to be delayed, and they just got aggressive. I get that there was a free kill waiting for them, but you have to keep in mind, there's a Zofia LMG over there. There always has been. Another kill here for Baka, 4th now, to line it up for his team and send his team to match point.
Wow, Baka clutching up that round in a big way. Of course, Davenport giving him a couple of kills. Not super hard for him to actually secure. And like you said, Adam, I liked the idea from Davenport. And the fact that they got the first kill, that's something. The double swing was enough to catch that one player off guard, as I think he had a nade in hand. It just hit Julian in the back or something, and he really couldn't find the kill himself. But you still had to deal with Baka. And based on the fact that we saw Davenport, after they got that kill, kind of just run all over the roof and just try to get back to the site, they actually had no idea that Baka was there. A little bit of an oversight, brief miscalculation, something that the Valkyrie would have helped with if she was on the board. They would have known they had to pay attention to both those players on the rappel, and they likely would have thought twice, maybe a 3rd or 4th time before jumping out the window. So yes, Kettering, match point. It is that same 6-3 scoreline that Davenport held over Kettering's head on the last map. So we know from experience it is possible to make the comeback happen, but this time it's Davenport in the comeback shoes rather than Kettering. So they're the ones now who have to chain 3 defensive rounds in a row.
Now Davenport will be going downstairs, a site that they haven't tried just yet, so everything is going to come new. But like we mentioned, Kettering, whenever it comes to their clearances of the, the outside of the bomb site, whenever it comes to getting extra control, Kettering have been very quick and very, very efficient on that. Are Davenport going to decide to establish a roam? It seems as if they are going to at least be off site. They're going to be having players inside of Kochek, but what I'm more interested in is how much time is Davenport going to be able to stall outside? How much time are they going to be able to stall upstairs, for example? And considering you have a sledge and you have breaching charges, that's a hefty amount of utility that's going to be able to give pressure to Kettering that Davenport is going to need to at least pressure, at least try and circumvent allowing that sledge in, try to circumvent Sledge getting inside and allowing for that upstairs breach to happen. It's going to be Spandy. We saw him on this exact same Mozzie alert last time. He was, obviously on Clubhouse, but he was pretty successful. I'm interested to see what he can do now.
Well, Baka will be droning out and will likely spot Spandy. No, he just got off his drone, maybe a second too late, but he does seem to know there is a roamer positioned in reading, so a bit of a pre-fire will indicate to Spandy that it is no longer safe to hold that position, so he will back off. But he'll look to maybe retake the top floor. He'll get spotted out by a drone, though, so smartly he will fall back. Going for a wall bang, but the recoil on that gun, not the easiest to control since it's nerfed, so he can't quite land the shots onto Derp either, as Kettering now secure control of what seems like the top 2 floors. That was the final roamer they had to force off, and now that they've done that, all 5 defenders are sitting down on the first floor. Not necessarily on the site. We've got someone positioned in Small Bakery, we've got someone on the brown stairs, and 2 players hanging out over in Whiskey Bar, but that extension is gonna actually cost Davenport more than it gains them there. You've lost Spandy. Right now, your top frag, someone who is hoping to be alive for the remainder of the round, but Kettering taking care of him. Now they can begin this vertical play freely. Now they can transition freely to that first floor and begin pressuring the site with ample time remaining.
Yep, 55 seconds, and they have so much time to play with, like you said, to clear utility and to force positions away. And to just get Davenport generally uncomfortable here. But Nazaru, he is not very uncomfortable at the moment. He's going to be swinging the head holes. Now, there is one position that they can play completely safe of vertical. Well, not completely, but decently free of vertical pressure, and that is Rice. That's exactly where Nazaru is going to be, and that's going to be concerning here for Kettering if they are going to be going for a big side clear, but it looks like it is going to be a backside, and they have no one. Davenport have no one inside of VIP, but there is one player sitting inside of reception. That's Reshkagol. He's found his first, but he's cleared out immediately by Derp, and that also gives control over to the coat check side. But a team kill on the side of Anomaly is going to be dangerous. Derp's on first third. He's looking for his fourth, and he'll get it. Nazru goes down, but do they have time to get the plant? He's going to have to go down now, and he gets it. It's Papa P for this cover. Cam Froggy can't slither his way in for this kill. It'll be Papa P instead. He'll lock the game out, and it'll be all Kettering all day. 2-1. It was a nice try there from Davenport, but Kettering just played so strong that entire cafe game.
Kettering proving that they are one of the big teams to beat here in the East Conference. A team that now will be 4-0, one of only 2 teams that will be completely undefeated after week 4 of play. So Kettering, they are setting their sights on the playoffs. They really want to be one of those top 4 teams. And unless somebody else can come out of the woodwork and take them down, they are sitting in a really good position to do so. Now Davenport, who have proven their mettle, I'd say they've earned a pretty good standing after today's performance. Maybe not map 1, but maps 2 and 3, a lot more respectable. They're also one of these teams to watch, but now they drop to a dangerous 3-1. Now they sit in this middle ground with a lot of other competent teams. You've got NJIT, you've got Western Michigan. After tonight, you'll have either NCSU or Waterloo. NCSU the favorite, so possibly another strong Waterloo team at that 3-1 point. You're going to have this battle for those second and or those third and fourth spots out of this conference going towards the playoffs. And so Davenport, the work that they're going to have to put in these next few weeks, it is only going to increase from here. They've got their work cut out for them, but the glimmers of hope that they showed us tonight, the moments where they were the strongest, they could seriously see a good path for them going forward.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how they do, especially because honestly, that game surprised me. Off the bat, we saw 7-0, and I was like, oh, no. I wasn't very excited. But at the same time, we got that clubhouse at 8-6, and it was just a strong showing from both teams. As much as Davenport did lose, as much as they had a terrible round differential on Bank or whatever, they both show their strengths and their weaknesses. And I felt like it was a very fair match at the end of the day. And I think both teams got to show off exactly what they're made of and why up to this point they were undefeated. Really well played to both teams. Round of applause for them. And honestly, I'm super excited to see how they can, match up against teams like Waterloo and NCSU. NCSU obviously historically just one of the best collegiate teams out there right now. We'll have to see if these two teams can even, put a dent in their run.
Yeah, NCSU, I believe they hold the #1 spot in the Rainbow Six Collegiate Championship power rankings that are published every week. Converse, Purdue, those are, the beasts at the top. But I mean, now that we're on week 4, week 5 right around the corner, the amount of undefeated teams slowly dwindling. There's going to be very few teams across all 4 conferences that remain undefeated after today. So to see one of them in front of us here is going to be pretty interesting to see how they fare going forward. They're going to have to play NC State next week. So that is going to be a tough prospect to say the least. With that Swiss bracket, you're both 4-0. You're both going to have to go against each other. That is if NC State can take down Waterloo. But we've got an interview with our captain of Kettering, Bucka, coming into the building now. We'll get a chance to talk with him and see how it's going. Bucka, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you going, Jonah?
Awesome. It's going well. Congrats on the win. You made it happen despite disappointing map 2. But let's talk about map 1 right off the bat. I mean, I didn't know that you guys were a bank team. Are you guys a bank team, or were you just insane tonight?
I don't know. I want theme park back. I don't like bank. It's gross. Give me theme park.
Well, I mean, clearly you guys put on a show.
I want theme park back.
All right. That's good to know, and I'll keep that in mind. Hey, they never know. There's changes coming to the map pool. Rumor has it in the next couple of days. We could see that reintroduced. But moving over to map 2. Davenport clearly had your number. On your own map pick of Clubhouse, is there something that they did that kind of got you in a bit of trouble? We saw you take the tactical timeout to regroup. What was it that they were doing so well?
I'm not really sure. I just know that the server told me that I was not able to play the game that map because there was multiple headshots that I had with the MP5 that just didn't do anything. So I just accepted it at that point. But it was really unusual to play against them on Clubhouse. 'Cause we haven't played them. We're rivals with them because they're not too far from us. And we've scrimmed them a bunch of times, but Clubhouse for some reason tonight just wasn't hitting. Because obviously you've seen us go to the tooth and nail with UAH on Clubhouse. So
Right.
I'm not sure what really was.
Over in Collegiate R6, are they in your premier group as well?
They are not.
You know?
They are not in our
They're
group.
not. Okay, so you won't get a chance to fight there, but that'd be an interesting matchup to see if it comes through in the playoffs. Adam, what do you got for Bucka?
I did want to ask you, Bucka. This is something that's been building up ever since I lost an unranked game to Rushka Goal. How the hell did he come up with that name? I gotta know.
Anime. That's my guess. It's anime.
Oh
We don't call
no.
him at Kettering. We don't call him Irishkigo. We just call him Jeff because I can't speak it, and we're good buddies with them. So
Yeah,
he's Jeff. He's always Jeff. Nothing
just
other than Jeff.
just having
Sorry for
that.
doxing him, but
Absolutely, dude. It's okay. I think having a name like Rushka Goal and having a name like Jeff is funny. Anyway, I do want to go back to map 3 there. That was a very fun map, I would say. Um, Can I just this is a bit of a play-by-play question. Can I get your thought process, your kind of analysis on what the heck happened on that double jump out? Like what was going through your
I have no
mind?
idea. I have no idea. All I figured, I heard jump out, and then I heard double jump out, and I see her Papa screaming in comms, and I'm like, "What's going on?" I look over, and there's two people running outside. I'm like, "Fish in a barrel, I guess."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I just wanted to see what that was about. But anyway, I also wanted to kind of like look at your playstyle because it kind of did start to shift across all 3 maps. You kind of went from a little bit more passive, kind of just sticking to your utility, to just having players swing and swing. We kind of saw that transition on Clubhouse whenever Derp was playing inside a garage. Who kind of made that call to kind of just ramp it up a notch, just take your aggressive gunfights and kind of just spearhead more attacks into a like punch a hole into the defense on the side of Davenport.
that would be up to our IGL, Papa P, and Anomaly. They both do really good jobs, and they're they're the brains. I don't know much because I just run in and shoot people, and that's my specialty. So they're the ones that have the brains. And they're the one that thinks a bunch, but that's kind of how things work out on that end. But it's kind of made of a shift because we're like, we can outgun these guys. We can do it, and obviously
Mm,
Cafe showed that, and Bank obviously showed that too.
yeah.
Um, Utility and all, but still, you're gotta take a gunfight somewhere.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I do think that in that shooting job, you did a very, very good job. So, if you just want to leave a final message for any other team that dares challenge the undefeated team one of the undefeated teams at the moment, the floor is yours. Just take it from me, and as for me, good luck to you in the future.
Do not peek Bucka DMR on a Rooney. That is a unwise decision.
True. True. All
Oh,
right, Bucka.
I got
Congrats on the
squirrely
win
out there
tonight.
for
We
me.
will see you next time.
See ya.
I'd see you. Well,
What a
always
man!
enjoyable. Always enjoyable to talk to Bucko. What a man. What a victory for him. He had a great performance, especially on map 3. He was dropping, I think, 15, 16 kills by the end. He had like 2 different quad kills, one on Zofia, one on Aruni. That is definitely the kind of play you like to see from your team captain. And the man, like he said, who just runs in and shoots people. So, like I said at the conclusion of this matchup, Davenport no longer undefeated. Kettering, one of the only undefeated, I guess, the only 4-0 team right now. We still don't know the conclusion of the NC State Waterloo game that might be going on right now. Could have already concluded. We'll have to check after the match, after we're done tonight. But Adam, that is going to conclude our broadcast for this evening. First of all, thank you for joining me in the booth. It's been a pleasure to have you for the first time here on the Collegiate Championship. And thank you all all of you who tuned in to check out what it was actually our first series on this channel where we actually saw all 3 maps. We saw an exciting series tonight, and hopefully we'll have more exciting stuff for you next week. As always, a big thanks to our wonderful observer, Nova, our producer, Tango Mango down in the booth. And we want to thank you all for tuning in and hope you all have a fantastic rest of your weekend and a good week to come. We'll see you next week for week 5. So long.